Good.
Hi.
I was so waiting for time to do it. Okay,
We always
So-
do.
who would like to recap yesterday?
Oh, man.
For the record of recording, this is day 4 of me DMing 4 days in a row.
Yeah, and I
So,
haven't uploaded any of them yet.
Oh, I know. So,
So that'll be interesting in hindsight. Anyway, last time, Zinnia had an idea, which is terrifying and unknown. We know nothing else except that it was, kind of precipitated by a slightly out-of-character comment about multiple Rosalinds getting asked to do whatever needed to be done that he didn't want to, and, yeah, scary. Anyway, Rose got a Zinnia sleepover, guessed at the pillow thing, but didn't really know. Zinnia did feel guilty because they didn't make a sacrifice, but Remy did for, Mahmoud. Hopefully the pillow fort helped a little bit. Some others went to see the Phoenix in Peduncle. Esther sat down and had a chat. And it went remarkably well. Like, not only was she not burned out of existence itself, she walked away with a boon in order to broker a deal, preferably with the Zodiac of the Plane of Fire, in order to get the Phoenix back onto said Plane of Fire. The boon is one that might make that a bit easier. Also, the promise that once that task is done, and it can be done at any time, no time limit, because the Phoenix does not care about, like, the mere span of years, she'll get another boon in replacement. That's gonna be really interesting. It has made Esther Phoenixkin. The Firebirds absolutely love it. The Monarch needed a talk. Ashton, in the meantime, finds out that he's been on all 3 parts of the Plane of Water, and can now train a natural attunement to water and ice, and also had a brief foray into Earth with the swamp plane. So there's potential there as well that's interesting. We find out a little bit about phoenixes, how there's many of them, each pertaining to a different aspect of fire. The one that's in Peduncle is the aspect of destruction, it seems, the ruler of flames. Esther's got a new phoenix tattoo, basically reformed Soldar on her back. There was a little experimentation with fire powers. Did not go quite as excellently, but interesting all the same.
excellently.
Excellently, yes.
Basically, it was a roll of D100. At a 64, she caught herself on fire, and at a 30, she launched herself into a wall. So we're gonna see what happens continuously.
Elemental wild magic.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Absolutely no way that can go wrong. We head down to Anther next, and meet Sammy, a young lady who was waiting for a meeting with the Duke, from Lentiel, and as a daughter of one of the head tradesmen of Lentiel, she'd been sent to offer herself in an arranged marriage, specifically to Rosalind. Rosalind kind of said, okay, no offense, but no. Luckily, she was very relieved by this. She was pushed by her dad to kind of get out more and was very nervous about it all. She is a full wood elf, and Zinnia she knows as the ultimate elf because she speaks with the Seldarine and is warlock to Moonbow, and Zinnia is into it.
I'm really gay!
Mm-hmm. Zinnia is very into it. But in the meantime, the Duke has been experiencing a bit of an illness. It's magically resistant bug. Kind of a cross between magical and just natural, where the best cure is probably bed rest and tea to overcome the exhaustion. And at that point, the Duke is like, hey, Ash, can I talk to you for a second? Had everybody else leave. Oh, I guess I skipped a little bit. Apparently Sammy needs to continue the the proposal train to Prince Rainier next, and luckily for her, for everyone, Al-Karim is socially off the table because he's in boot camp. He's in timeout.
I technically never said why he's off the table. Just he currently is.
Okay.
Out
There
of
was an
curiosity-
incident and he's off the table. We assume
Yeah.
boot camp.
The person taking over for the Duke currently, what's his name again? The Duke's helper?
Samsir!
Samsir. God bless
Samsir,
Samsir.
thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna get to Samsir.
I'm sorry if I spell it wrong.
Oh.
Samsir.
Okay, I spelled it right.
Anyhow, the Duke keeps Ashton back to talk to him, and Ashton is sweating bullets underneath all the armor because he needs to talk to the Duke, but part of him really doesn't want to because there is a confession in there. But really, the Duke just wanted to ask if the island can take more people on. Anther is strained, people keep coming in, they can't take any more as it stands right now. They need to be able to, relieve a little bit of the, population pressure. We did not give an answer, we were not able to. Ashton needed to talk to all the rest of us, and oh boy, we're gonna have to decide that.
Yep.
But the Duke then gave Ashta the scepter of Anther to give to Rosalind to lend in order to help negotiations in Libra's court. And after laying it on a little thick for a little bit, which was excellent, just for the offhanded things, the whole "I trust you completely, you've always been professional, you're stoic," etc. is like, Ashta had to say it.
I want to date your daughter!
Oh, I think it came across more as, hey, this is already a thing. I'm not asking permission, I'm just asking for approval. Almost. Maybe not in those words, but God, it sounded.
It's the emotional equivalent.
Forgiveness rather than permission.
Yep. Yep, exactly that. Which, seemed to have the equivalent effect of clubbing the Duke over the head, as he just kind of nodded a couple times, wandered out into the main part of the longhouse, and, started setting up the feast that had already been planned for the night, and crying and smiling during a speech he was giving about how he's gonna take some time off for a few weeks to recover, and also to take some time to better get to know the group, including Rosalind and now Ashta. Because that was a new thing. At that point, Samsir.
Or
was
fucking Samsir.
finally catching up on some sleep, and is now being left with this city under major expansion strain. Maybe not completely
Samsir's
by
gonna fucking kill
themselves,
him.
but oh boy. Oh, there were threats. Rosalind's gonna have to come back and help at some point. There might have to be a little lull of a few days where it's like, guys, I gotta go.
I think technically Ashta agreed to help too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he owes the Duke, and the Duke owes Samsir.
Yeah.
Meantime, Sammy figured out that, oh, Ashta was glaring at her because of the proposal, because Ashta is already in a relationship with Rosalind, and she's, like, panicking and gives him a 20% off anything, any one item, like, general coupon at Lentiel to get forgiveness. And also says she can set up a trade deal or network with the Skyland. There are flying traders to Isol and Kakouin from Lentiel. There could be a way to organize something. We won't be able to stick to any kind of schedule right now because war, but could be for the future. And then the cook confronts Ashta, and Ashta braved the den to find out Rosalind's favorite foods and how to make them. And she's sending a cook who I think I caught it. Is his name Pierre?
Yes.
Thank you. She's sending Pierre up to the castle to teach Ashta, and when that inevitably fails, according to the cook, to do the cooking for him.
And to lie and say that it was him.
Yep. Warns Ashta to always fear her. And then the cook challenged Zinnia. Zinnia stepped up. The cook has an insane number of advantages and modifiers, and of course won. It was so anime. It was...
It was so much fun.
I'll kick Betty White's ass.
It's the best. Zinnia now has another goal. Work towards
Kicking Betty White's ass.
Haha.
The old human woman told the elf that the elf was 20 years too early.
Uh-huh. I mean, technically, the old human woman was probably starting to cook when the elf was still crawling around on the floor, despite the age difference.
Pretty soon after, actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zinnia couldn't cook until like 2 months ago, so.
So yeah, not 20 years too early, 80.
Mhm.
So
Let's round it at a nice 100. Assume that this kid has some like the
Oh, yeah,
child version.
That's factoring for bonuses.
Yep. Samsir commissioned Fervis for about 64 catnap potions. He got a lot of money for the job in order to cover expenses and also the work and time, and he's gonna be busy for a little while.
Very heavy workload all of a sudden. The glibness potion, the haste potions, the catnap potions, there's a lot.
Yep. Have fun time management.
He's only been in the group for about a week.
He has had
He's getting good
the
conditions.
craziest week of his
Yeah.
entire life, I'll bet.
Oh, definitely.
I like to imagine Fervis leaves his mentor and just assumes this is what normal adult life is like.
It's Fervis did the equivalent of like pull himself out of like a car crash and meet Bill Gates, and Bill Gates goes, "Hey, want a job?"
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're not wrong.
Anyhow, that is the end of my notes. Yeah, we ended the session very soon after. I think we're spending the night in Anther, at least most of us are, but the castle is also right there, and... Guys, are we taking more people on?
We'll open up as the feast finishes and everyone filters out. Fervis, you've just got back to the island.
Finish
All
up
are
with glibness
free to
potion.
go where you wish. Well, you'll be starting.
Yeah.
Excuse me, starting the second one as you get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the meantime, the rest of you have kind of gone back to your own private area outside of the open feast hall, letting those who work there clean things up. Finally taking a chance to breathe after the fear of God hasn't put in half of you.
No, not God. I kill gods. That woman was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That woman did what Odin himself apparently failed to do to your past life.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, dead ass.
Yeah.
So, as you guys retreat into the same private area you originally met Sammy in, Sammy's kind of excused herself to get some rest. You all are free from responsibility at the current moment and have a couple hours till it's time.
So we'll work on that potion.
Astra has this he makes a glance and then like looks away from Rosalind like 3 times, not subtly.
She just reaches over, takes his hand. I think that went well. I mean, all things considered.
Took the words out of my mouth.
You guys did great. From what I heard from eavesdropping into the door while you were talking with the Duke, it went well.
We're proud of you.
Oh, really? News to me.
Hmm.
I had no idea you were there.
I thought it was pretty
Alright.
obvious, but with the falling into the room and everything.
Yeah, we're both not very graceful on our feet, but what are we gonna do with the people?
I think... I don't know. We have the space.
We do.
It's
have-
just...
The space isn't safe.
It's not, but even if it's temporary.
We're making it safer.
Exactly. And as long as those coming aboard know that it's not safe currently, but it will be in the future, then perhaps at least those who come aboard know what they're getting into.
We'd have to phrase it in such a way that they're aware they're walking onto the equivalent of an army base.
There may
Actually,
still
you're gonna
be those who
tap-
are willing.
Actually, you get a tap from Rayla and basically like a whisper of, is it safe to come out?
He'll glance around.
Perception, if you'd like.
28.
You can see dust on every surface. No. Yeah, it's a little private chamber. It's meant for conversations like this.
I think so. Maybe
Floats
stay
out.
invisible just in case.
You feel the weight of her sitting on your head. She's just listening in.
Enjoy the show.
Quite a bit. But don't let me interrupt. Keep going.
Have the fundings to provide if we keep making what we're making as if the dragon
Speaking of-
we have to take care
Speaking of fundings, actually,
of.
and he's gonna pull out the gift card thing. Where was that box? Where was that Naga shop?
The one, the vestiges.
Yes.
That was FTL.
Yeah, it was.
And that was the place with that box.
The cubic gate.
Nods.
I'm half wondering how useful it might be to us, given all of the tuning forks. How many do you have, Zinnia?
Six.
Lots.
We-
8, I think. 7.
But
Do
a
we
couple
have
of them are
anything-
doubles, right?
Yeah, I have a few doubles.
So basically, how many planes? 5?
No, the total. Material and then 6 other planes, because I have all the elemental planes, the abyss, and astral plane.
Okay.
Oh, Zinnia, would you care to message Cancer? Ask her how to get onto that plane. I know we can tune on, but is there a gateway that will open? And also
Directions.
directions, and we demand immunity
I-
for this.
If I can get coordinates, I feel like that'd be best.
That could work.
Maybe send and ask.
Sure.
Whatever
just,
you think is best for what you need.
Could we maybe request a message with Libra? If anyone could be the talks for the immunity. I know it said Libra is busy with things, but
Cancer could request it.
If we're to be witnesses at her trial, then we need immunity, no matter.
Yeah. And with getting there, Ashta, if I have coordinates, you are very good at not getting us lost on this plane. Are you able to not really get us that lost on that plane, or...
GM?
As long as there's nothing magically enticing you to be lost, yes. It works
Unless
in
there's-
any terrain, technically.
Unless there's any magic specifically devoted to making people lost.
Okay. Z's gonna stretch out their back, and Ty's gonna think up some words right now real quick. Give me a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Raven Dementia Way.
Stop. Stop.
Not a
please.
recording?
Anyhow, so basically the question of more people on Anther comes down to we can, but should we, basically. However,
If
against
we
the
do, we
balance
will
of-
make it clear.
Yeah, against the balance
people-
of Skyland versus Anther, if Anther cannot support more people, but more people keep coming, something does
Yeah.
have to be done.
And the Firebird seemed rather pleased with us bringing life back onto the island.
They've been pleased with a lot of things, to be fair.
But it is also a good plus, considering the happier she is,
If we can...
the happier we all are.
Tell
Real
me
fast as a
more.
reminder.
Mhm.
You guys are inhabiting a castle that belonged to cloud giants.
Yeah.
It's built such that functionally that 100 giants could live there. It's not unreasonable that place be converted. As well, the people who were originally being offered for you guys to take up were all highly skilled people. You can assume at least some of them have levels. So, I encourage you to, if you would like to, consider that as well, because the people being offered aren't just citizens. They are highly skilled workers, if not outright combatants.
Personally, I'm for it, especially if we can get the equivalent of a ranger corps, some sort of group that, we've got the dwarves. They're probably more rooted in the castle itself.
They're like hard, like on the ground foot soldier guards.
Yeah.
But if we can get rangers, that would be
Yes.
really nice to clear out the woods.
Oh yeah, and make the lands around the castle that much safer.
Personally, I'm for.
If we're willing to accept with that caveat that we're looking for skilled explorers and rangers.
People who know and are willing to take on the danger both on the island and whatever may come as a result of the war. Frankly, there comes a point where if somebody wants to take that risk, if they truly believe it'll be better for them, then, well, it's rather their choice, isn't it?
You know how old I was when I joined my guard. I understand the feeling more than anyone. But just want to make sure we're letting people know.
Well, we've never made an effort to hide it. Not even before.
But with the status of Anther right now, I'd be concerned some people might see it as more of a way out, or there might not be a full consideration. We should just make it clear, is all.
How are the do we check how the gardens are going on so we can support ourselves instead of having to spend much more per month or however we can?
That's the other thing.
It's
We
how much
need
we can
to
do.
I agree. We need to establish gardens and farming. All
how
of these things.
It's how much that it's us right now. It's only us financially supporting these people for the most part. So I don't want to add any taxation.
I think for the most part, they've been setting up quite the self-sufficient network. We have sheep, we have a herding dog. Certain
Have quite a number of crops.
We've got crops.
And they can support themselves in terms of that, but if
bringing more and
Ray
more
recalls correctly, we are the ones that paid to get it started.
Mm-hmm.
So it
As were
depends
the
on
parents.
So it depends on how much we are willing to still put down and how much work we will do that will rather gain a profit than any political sway. That is the encounters we're going for right now. Hopefully the dragon will be more profit and shouldn't be any political sway, but our work is partially political right now and may not gain us any money.
Moreover, the situation in Anther is unfortunate, and if it was easier to change, by all means, but our priority is the war in the Zodiacs.
How about this? For today, we won't bring up anyone. We'll go back to the island. We'll deal with Cancer and Libra. And after that, we'll sit down and discuss how things on this island are going to work, with how many people we are going to bring on. We will discuss funding, bring in people to understand and to plead their points and what they would like to see on this island.
We could send out lines of info.
We'll have a
among the right
meeting.
people here.
We
While we're
will
still
have a
here
meeting.
before we leave.
Exactly. I agree.
Set up how life currently on the island is, see if any people would back out from that, see if those numbers lessen anymore, and see where we can go from there.
But we do need to have a meeting. An
Yeah.
official one. One to begin some sort of structure on this island.
We also double our population, like a week ago.
Yes, we should check in and see how everybody is settling in.
But perhaps after we deal with Cancer and Libra.
Yeah, speaking of Cancer, I have this sort of roughed out, and with the edits in the chat, that is. Anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns before I send it out?
No, I think that's perfect.
I think that's the most important info, so.
Okay, cool. Zinnia's gonna stretch their back out, and with the 2 editing made by Ariel and Conrad.
And who are you sending it to?
Cancer!
Okay.
I have spell slots. Something about Libra too later. D20.
I think you have to have met Libra first, right?
Yeah.
Familiar. You are familiar.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to do Libra, but you can do Cancer.
If I scry on Libra, if that's an ability, he'll get pissed off.
Yeah.
He'll get pissed off. D20. It doesn't work.
It fails.
Oh, fuck.
You can just resend it though.
Come on,
Give me a second, D20.
please. I don't want to get him to actually cry. Okay.
Sorry, that was really funny.
A little static in the connection.
He was like, oh, I can't get her the first time. Maybe she's in another call. Maybe she's in a dream spell. Wait a second, Zinnia like lightly taps their own head.
I have been thinking recently about what would happen if you got two sendings at the same time. Regardless.
Oh.
It's all static, and the three words Cancer gets is traveling to you.
Wait, fuck, no. Yeah.
So you send it and says, the response you get immediately is, as my witness, you have basically, immunity. The gates of Aqua are a teleportation anchor. Your safety is guaranteed so long as you maintain safety while here. 25, yes.
Yes!
As we maintain what while we're there?
Safety while here. So basically maintain everyone else's safety.
Fair
We
enough.
don't shoot anyone.
Alright, so whenever we teleport, we will appear at the gates.
Roll an Arcana check, both Esther and Zinnia.
Can I guidance myself, or is that... Or
Yeah.
This is like
No,
okay.
you're good. You can do it.
Can I offer somebody advantage with Feign support because I am proficient in Arcana?
Yeah, you can do stuff for Esther.
Okay.
I'll yoink that.
I got a 10.
Advantage
Alright.
for Esther.
Not a
Give
smart
me-
cookie.
Actually,
Well,
Ashley, you
if
should be able
you-
to roll this too.
If you want to load,
Would you have
Slash.
advantage?
Yeah, you would have advantage, yeah.
Esther
20.
has advantage. There we go.
Vito.
Well, Ashley would have it just because it's planar.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so Ashley, you've vaguely heard of this, but you can't recall at the moment. Esther, a teleportation anchor is basically a not a magic item, but a magic place that pulls all teleportation magic of one area into one specific area. So as long as you can get onto the realm of Aqua with your accuracy, you will show up at the gates.
Good to know. So, in the morning then, shall we go?
Like a plan.
As a reminder, it's going to take Fervis another couple tries to get the Glibnus potions.
However,
Yep.
we only had 3 days, and I think 2 have passed.
One is
Yeah.
passed.
1? Really?
Yeah, this will be technically the first day passing.
Oh.
I told
Okay.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you were
why
told yesterday that way that day doesn't count.
Alright. So then, allow maybe tomorrow Fervis the chance to finish his potion. We can get some semblance of ability on the island.
Mm-hmm.
See if we could find the percentage of how much money we'd be using and see how much we'd have to be making per month. And oh god, the business inside of me is coming out.
And
Rather
then,
than like taps Ash on the head and say, "Why don't we ask the Duke to pay for part of it? He's getting rid of the people, right?
Mm,
that is a good idea.
I'm sure they've brought stuff with them that's helping pay for things here, right? That's gold goes wherever people go, right?
to some
It's not-
extent. However, if they're refugees, they may not have much, and we could not expect to fully take it from them. That being said, the skills that they may bring are as valuable, if not more so. If
Based
we
on skill level then?
If we can have... I know the focus is perhaps on soldiers and fighters, but also weavers, cobblers, tailors, the little essential things that you don't tend to think about in day-to-day life.
We've got
Well,
one
certain-
cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one. We have Zinnia. We have 2 now.
I'm one.
No, the one that the lady
Here.
said to come on.
Yeah, we have 2
And Pierre.
now.
Wait, and
You also have the hairdresser.
yeah, he can cook.
Yeah.
Alright.
There's a hairdresser on the island? Oh my god, yeah, there is.
Forgot about him.
Kai's apprentice, yeah.
Caius isn't here.
Yep.
Oh my
he's
god,
just
where did-
floating in the wind, isn't he?
He's somewhere in Darrencourt or something. I don't know where Battleground Wrestling is right now.
You will find it eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
But also, I know my father will be resting, but knowing him, within a few days, as he starts feeling better, he's going to want to at least give advice.
Well, that would be perfect. With his years of expertise, he could have a very good functioning setup up there.
At the very least, ask him to teach all of you the ropes a little bit.
Maybe find any loops and holes in our current setup.
I will be honest with all of you. I'm not very good at politics. At least not the kind that you dwell in.
You come from a
But,
different culture than we do. It's got different rules. I wouldn't
If-
worry too much.
Possibly. I would like to implement the... I suppose...
You're breaking up,
Tactics?
Sky.
Oh, sorry. I would like to implement some of the genasi tactics in terms of government, if that's possible.
I would
I think
love
that
to
entirely-
see it.
I think that entirely depends on exactly what, but we'd be certainly open for it. That'd be great.
It's a little different than I suppose how you do it. Everybody gets a say, in a sense. There are the main group, and she kind of gestures to us. There's the main that makes the final say, but those who want change or desire something, they come forward. They have no fear in coming forward, and they express their opinions to the council, I suppose would be the best word for it. And
No.
Asher kind of leans out the door nearby and you saw the lineup when we got here.
However,
I don't think that's as exclusive as you might think.
but if we can break them up into smaller groups, or have them break themselves up, perhaps.
That is one thing I'm wanting to do, given how, again, when we walked in here, we should not pile it all on one of our own Samseers.
no, of course not.
We need to break things up a bit more.
But that is what I mean. In terms of
In terms of...
Sky?
Did we lose Sky?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
There is so much technicality going on in the,
Oh,
Sky, go by.
phone call.
Sky!
There it is.
Business major.
Sorry, that was really weird. But no, in terms of people are divided. Obviously, you will have your group of tailors, you will have your group of cobblesmiths, all those kinds of things. But there must be a head representative for each of those industries. They listen to the complaints and concerns and the wants of their own specific groups, and then they bring it to the council for decision. That way we don't have a line out the door of every single person's individual wants and needs.
Maybe I had 2 or 3 even.
The
Be good
larger
for
groups can have 2 or 3, and the smaller ones, perhaps 1 or 2.
He shrugs. I mean, honestly, they can have what they think they need. As long as they bring someone up, but I'm just saying it shouldn't have to be the same person every time.
But again, tomorrow, it's important that we gather everybody who's currently on the island into one space and we present them with this idea. Oftentimes, if you give a group of people that sort of control over their own scenario, they do a lot of the work themselves.
So, if I feigned Isa and asked her to start spreading the word, make an announcement, what time tomorrow do you think would be best?
Perhaps noon, in the Great Hall,
It'll be easy
where the
to...
Firebird can listen.
Yes. It'll be easy to tell the time, at the very least.
Indeed. And everybody is to be there.
One other
If possible.
Everybody who
Guards
could
are...
be. Yes.
Yes.
One other thing. I am more than for taking from and learning and understanding from the examples of others. I'm hesitant to spin it in such a way, if you know what I mean.
Well, what do you mean?
I would like to bring in the Genasi way, but I don't know if it'd be as. We're trying to make our own thing, right?
Of course, I'm just
This is-
taking an influence.
Exactly, but just maybe not a phrasing of we're doing it the Genasi political style or
Of
stuff like
course not. We're doing it our style,
Mhm.
our way.
that.
I'm simply giving an example. I promise, no matter
Oh.
how hard you try, you will never be able to do it any way that the Genasi can.
Yeah, for one, we don't have a desert.
And you don't have tribes.
And we're
And-
rather more rooted.
Also, we're in the sky too. But
Yes. But no, we do it our way. But original
we're
ideas
at the same
are
time
hard.
both more and less nomadic than the Genasi tribes.
Honestly, truly, you are about as nomadic as my tribe. I'll be honest with you. We didn't stay in any place longer than a few days.
But I don't think they go across the country at that speed.
No.
And technically we are staying in a place, it's just the place is what's moving.
This is
It's an odd thing to think, but
Technically, by that logic, Kakyoin would also be nomadic.
an entire
It
nomadic
floats
city.
on a river.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it does.
it's the country is nomadic, not the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the people are in very rooted buildings and lands and so on and so forth. So it has the structure of a non-nomadic people. But
Y'all know, I think we've never been to Akhenaten? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, you guys have been there very briefly.
Have we ever been to Isol?
I don't think
No,
we've been
not
to
to Isol.
Panicum. No, not to Isol.
Is it
Actually-
Isol, not a soul?
Isol?
I say it Isol, but it's
Yeah.
however you pronounce it's fine.
Isol.
Isol. We may go to Isol if the gathering is nearby soon.
There's also Calciolaria.
Yeah, we've never been there.
Pretty sure I said
Several
that
days.
Fervis's mentor lives in Easthall.
He'd have been there a couple times.
Oh,
Yeah.
He may not live there permanently.
I don't think
Yeah.
we've been on the ice floes, have we?
Not
I
technically.
know.
not really.
No.
There's a lot of places we
Ashton
haven't
might have
been.
once.
Yeah, fair.
But we do need to go there eventually because I need to get that fucking vestige.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
We
Alright.
have...
Well,
Have our...
Oh.
who's
Seems like
going
you
to
all have a
remain?
plan.
Who's going
We
to
have our
remain
game
here
plan.
tonight? And who's going to go up?
I think I will remain here and wait for my father to be ready in the morning. Just that I'm not going back and forth too much.
I'm going to go back to the castle.
Stay here. I need to do some math.
I'll stay with Roslyn, and I feel like I almost have to at this point with how today's gone.
Fair enough. You are her knight in shining armor, after all.
It's not that shiny.
It's
Gotcha.
pretty fucking shiny.
How many potential people would we be letting on, Conrad, or is that our
Choice. He has like a couple thousand people ready if you guys want to take them.
What is our current population?
400.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, because here's the thing: is like it's all well and good, but you have to understand like how much also the Duke is just like, Jesus Christ, get him away from me.
No, last time you guys were here, he collected a couple thousand highly skilled workers, and you guys took a very specific 200 from that.
Yep.
He has a lot ready basically on a dime.
He's looking at us like we're his salvation.
Because
Kind
they're
of.
all highly skilled workers, which is great because the reason they don't cost us any money right now. With
Yeah.
fucking amazing. But the thing is though, 50% are living as like more of a like underneath nobility, while the other 50% we got from Anther are living sort of in that below middle class sort of thing. In terms of that, I don't want to start a class war or anything, but
No, we have to
it's
say
a concern.
if you come on the island, you start as everybody else.
Well,
It's basically the dwarves only have that because they're working in the castle,
exactly.
whereas the are functioning almost as like a soldier would be, where they're basically taking over the town.
I just really don't want to start a class war.
Which is fair. That is a valid concern.
We will put up class war to.
It was looking at our numbers.
I'll tell you what, I'll fucking end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you start bitching about your class, You can get off the fucking island. Go by. That's it.
We need a proper justice system. I don't want to think about this right now.
Yeah, currently you guys have Issa.
The justice
Here's
system
the
is
thing.
Issa and the crossbow.
Issa is the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Oh no, Gash is the executioner.
Banhammer.
Actually,
Terrible.
yeah.
Essence is the executioner.
No, Essence is the axe.
We
Yeah.
need to. Oh no.
Essence is
you know-
both the axe and the priest who's there letting your soul go on.
So Conrad,
to
Anyway,
write up a legitimate set of
Your
rules.
soul.
I need to ask Conrad so many questions, but not.
Okay.
They're
One-
all business related.
Okay,
Yep.
one other thing. A thought occurs.
Yep.
This might be something more for the magic-y, sciencey types.
Hmm.
There exists currently, as far as I know, no working humanoid civilization that is on a flying castle.
Roll a history check.
Okay.
With advantage.
He did say humanoid, though, too,
I
to
know.
be fair.
Where's my history?
There is. That'd be pretty fucking cool if there are others like this.
Yes, that's fine. This was mentioned very recently. Technically, the realm of Aqua does. It's mostly inhabited by humanoids.
What does, sorry?
The realm of Aqua. Where are you guys going to?
Oh,
I thought you were gonna say that, but okay. To add on, in the material plane.
Yeah. Isol's kind of close, because a lot of it is not flying, but in the air.
But and we move,
Citadel kind of too.
and we move as such. There could be some sort of resource we're completely overlooking. Nothing else really floats around in the clouds.
I will speak to the dwarves about that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what it could be. It's not my area, but
No, I have
would-
a...
we said before we're a nomadic land with a non-nomadic people.
Hey, Conrad. Genuinely curious idea. There was something... Did you ever watch the movie Stardust? Yay, nay?
Conrad?
Test us?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have not.
Okay, basically there were these things, they were airships. And what they were capable of doing was capturing lightning, storing it in some way, and then being able to use that to produce electricity, raw electricity. Using magic, and considering our extremely high vantage point, would it be possible to actually do that?
I mean, you guys have a similar thing, technically, with that. Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
Goddamn. Apparently that idea is illegal.
Apparently.
FBI open up.
Technically, you guys have a similarly functioning thing with that one captured elemental. It's the same idea.
Okay.
So you doing it with magic, the most efficient would probably be with another captured elemental.
Yeah, but no.
Interesting.
Getting actual lightning, it's possible. The castle itself technically flies due to the crystal center.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a powerfully enchanted crystal. But there's a number of ways to produce energy.
Like, I'm just wondering if there's anything like you can you can pull the ozone from the air and use that for something. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the fact that we're in the air seems like we would have access to some sort of something.
Or we
Technically,
could
hydrogen,
harvest
hydrogen would be,
Generators per
technically
main-
hydrogen would be most efficient, but
Yeah.
that technology only been invented recently in the real world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But
What about
again,
water?
steam power is always the easiest. Heat. You guys have Firebirds. There's a dozen different ways you could do it.
Yeah, just
What
not
if
with
you,
captured elementals, okay?
Yeah.
You guys could
Um,
have the Firebirds basically create steam engines because they heat the whatever you're going to burn. You have a lake. You could possibly make what's it called? Not a
Water.
hydration station. Hydroelectric power. Like there's a
Hydro
bunch
plant.
of different ways you could do it.
Hydro
There's
plant.
magic. There's just outright magic.
But as it's like I don't know, like as a resource, something that we can capture and something that we can sell. In terms of that idea.
We can look into it more, but
Yeah, we will. Anyways, that
Bottle
just
lightning
curious.
in a bottle.
I mean, make one hell of a hand grenade.
It's a trick question. Purposes already has access to lightning in a bottle.
So,
What the-
fantasy steampunk. Let's make this happen.
uh,
All
We're
right.
doing it.
we'll be called the Cloud Eaters.
Mm,
I hate
let's
that.
workshop that
Yeah.
That
outside
needs a
of
bit of workshopping.
session.
Anyways, let's go. I'm going to go back.
I'm gonna start running numbers. I'm not smart enough to do this, but I'm gonna do it.
Would
I think
you all...
that you are quite
You
smart
have a
enough.
hyper intelligent fire genasi on the ship that can probably help run numbers with you.
This is the person in character who's already made a spreadsheet to run numbers.
Yeah.
Out of character is making a spreadsheet right now.
Honestly, Ty, if you want, we can just go over numbers post-session.
That's what I want to do.
Out
It's
of,
very much
This
so.
is gonna be amazing. Oh god.
Maybe
you
knock
guys.
your wise brain matter together with Fervis's numerical brain matter.
I'll get the number started now and let
You
him
can
work
do the
on it.
math. You know where to put the numbers.
The Fane can help me do the math. They're like a little abacus.
So can Esther.
You know, Zinnia, I know you're heading up
Yep.
and not staying here, but thought
I'm staying here.
occurs- Oh, you are.
Yeah.
I'm
Sammy
going up.
did require, but the thought did occur that as the daughter of a very successful merchant in Lentiel who knows quite a lot about trade routes and so forth and could set something up for us directly, she might know quite a bit about finances on a larger scale.
You're right, she would.
Perhaps tomorrow morning after breakfast.
That's fair, and that may calm her down about whatever happened
Just
tonight.
Just make sure to keep track of time and be able to get back up to the castle before noon so that we can all make the announcement. You know what?
Yes, of course.
Let's give you a little extra time on that. Let's make the announcement mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock.
All right.
Perhaps
Just like fading frozen, just I love you, I love you, I love you.
maybe the announcement shouldn't be that we are going to start instituting rules and stuff like that. How about just everybody who is in some sort of the same avenue of work, perhaps select 2 or 3 people to come to us at a later date with things that they require.
To consider it in order to streamline the process, I think we should also ask them their thoughts on bringing more people in. If they feel their areas, their whatever lands they work, etc., might be ready for that kind of expansion. Many of them have done far more walking across these lands, across the castle, poking into corners than we have been able to, given everything we've been doing.
And if those leaders were at least somewhat considered to be in place, that would give the ones coming on a lot more direction immediately. Also, even maybe just groups that don't exist yet.
Mhm.
Maybe like the sewers or tailors or stuff like that. We might only have a few now, but if one of them amongst them can pick someone to lead and organize the larger numbers coming on, make it hit the ground running.
Mhm.
Asher like leans back a second, and, like looks outside. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to someone. Oh boy.
I'm just saying, y'all, as someone who loves playing Civilization, this conversation is breathing life into me.
Of course you love this fucking conversation.
Well, if that's all then, I'm going to head up. I'll tell Lisa to start spreading the word.
Thank you.
Out of curiosity, would one of you mind walking me to the platform?
Of course.
Thank
Ashta,
you.
with us, please? I'm sure you'd
of course.
like to make sure.
Yep.
So, as you guys walk up to Rose, she's just basically enjoying a chat with a couple people, seemingly soldiers who were originally from Citadel, who she's just chatting with. She sees the guys and kind of stands up and stretches like, "Oh, all 3 of you, or?"
Just me.
Ah, okay. Well, let's go. No,
Yes, sir.
no refugees this time?
Not yet.
That's something
Funny
that's
you
going
ask.
to be discussed.
Oh, cool.
Did you get the word from Issa already?
No, but last time we were here, I spent a couple hours bringing up 200 people.
Yes.
Ah,
That
right.
will not be what is happening immediately. However, there will be a meeting tomorrow.
Sure.
For everybody on the island.
Up there or down here?
Up there. For those on the
Okay.
island. We're going
Also,
to
don't assume you'll never have
discuss-
to do that again.
She shrugs. Got nothing else to do.
Well, we will be needing transport back up to the island tomorrow afternoon. We'll get word to you when we're ready, just so you're not having to wait around for us.
To be fair, I could just get Lucy.
She feigns Ashta with a nudge, like, remember, my father's coming too.
Right.
So, is you guys gonna float up as usual? Esther floats up as usual. Rosa kind of chats about who she's gonna let know and how she tends to be the center of the rumor mill because, as, like, standard military operation, she kind of has one specialist job, but otherwise she's just kind of sitting around not doing much
Yeah.
until called upon. So she tends to be the center of rumor mills pretty quickly.
Once they're kind of floated high enough that they're out of like line of sight, Esther just kind of sits down. She looks exhausted.
Rosa just kind of smiles as you do so and like pats your back and stuff being in charge.
Not that. Other things. But
Being your
yes.
mom?
No. That's wonderful.
Tough hunting zodiacs.
No. That's
Really?
fun.
Mildly concerning. Real tire you out the chest?
Very funny.
She smiles at you.
A lot of things on my mind.
Makes sense. Well, that's part of war.
Oh, it's certainly a part of something.
Yeah, you'll manage.
I certainly hope so.
If you don't, who else will? Other than Ashta. He's a baggage train for himself. In terms of raw momentum.
Oh. Unfortunately, there are some things that Ashta cannot handle.
Oh, I know. That's okay. That's why he's got you guys to help him. Same thing with
Indeed.
Rosalind and same thing with everyone.
Indeed. Once we get to the castle, Esther is going to go look for Fervis.
Ferris by now has begun his second trial on the glutinous potion.
Yep.
She
Do I have
kind
to
of
make the alchemy check for that, or
You're only in the first hour, so
okay?
just knocks on the door.
Hi.
like 3 dwarves jump in the air.
Hello?
Sorry. Hi.
I didn't mean to startle you.
No, I'm just. He looks like he's about to like fall asleep mid conversation.
When was the last time you slept?
I look at one of the doors. 12 hours? 12, 14.
14 hours ago.
Right.
Fervis? You need to go to bed.
This has a lot of importance.
I
Also,
know it
14
does.
I
hours.
need to get this
14 hours
done.
is less than a normal day.
Yes. I'm fine.
You're not fine. You are very clearly not fine.
Fine.
You are looking at me with a glint of mania. You are not fine.
A week ago, I was scrounging for food in the desert. Now, I'm helping. I'm complicit in helping you kill gods, or at least what I understand are close to. And now we are standing trial for it, and this is something of our linchpin, and I can't let you people down. Oh no! At least not in my current state.
Esther's gonna kind of look at the dwarves and give a motion for them to please leave.
They shrug and just one of them kind of pats you and just says, "He's just going to finish this one and then he's going to bed." That was the original plan.
It's not that.
He'll sleep at night.
He
I'm
will.
sure of it.
Thank you. And as they leave, Esther's just going to kind of close the door. And she turns back to you, Fervis. And are you sitting or standing?
He's sitting,
She's going to sit down in front of you. And just,
like deliriously writing notes in a notebook that he's
Fervis,
not sure he will understand if he goes to sleep.
look at me. Look at me.
Yeah.
You're not going to let us down.
How are you sure about that?
Because everybody makes mistakes. And everybody does things that they wish they could take back, but they can't. The important part is that you learn from those mistakes. And you keep going. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders right now. It is pressure that for something that pretty much only you can pull off. But if you can't pull it off, it's okay. You are young, and you've only been here for a week.
I don't want you guys to think of me as a liability.
You're not a liability.
Never been
You've-
this important to anybody. You understand, right?
I too. I know what it's like to not feel important. To feel like you are less than nothing. I know what it feels like. So I'm going to tell you. You are important. You were important before all this. And you are important now. You are important to us. To this island. To this country. And to this plane. You were born with a purpose. And whether this is your purpose or not, it is still remaining to see. You are young. And your life is always changing. And it's okay if sometimes you aren't able to do the things that you want to do in the current moment. What's important is that you work on it. And one day you'll eventually get there. But you're not going to let us down. And we're not going to be any less proud of you. Ashta is incredibly proud of you, even though Ashta is emotionally stunted. I am proud of you.
You what?
As his ears are burning. I am proud of you. Zinnia is proud of you, and Rosalind is proud of you. And Caius, should he ever meet you, I'm sure he will be taken aback at his successor.
I've met the purple one. We didn't get into conversations too much, but he seems like an okay person.
And believe me, if you ever meet him again, and his memories ever come back to him, I don't think he's going to be any short of amazed. Truly. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. You flashbanged a Zodiac, and if it wasn't for that, Zinnia probably wouldn't have been able to get close enough, as fast as they did, to set off that reaction. Again, what you did was incredible, and what you continue to do will be even more so. So please.
Too close for comfort.
And there are going to be a lot of close calls. In this line of work, I suppose, there are always going to be accidents and mistakes. And she kind of puts a hand over her stomach where you know the scar of that warhammer is. There will be things that you cannot take back, even if you wish you could. But what's important is that you move forward. You do not let those mistakes define who you are today. Instead, you allow them to shape you into the person you want to become. Do you understand?
Yes. It's just... the majority of my life, I've been cast aside seen as a lesser than. I never want to do that. I never want that to happen again. And he just puts his face in his hands.
Esther kind of puts her hands on his shoulders and just, you will not be like that again. For as long as I live, I swear to you, you will know your importance. Whether it be to this entire country, or simply only to me. I promise, you will never be forgotten. And when she says this, she is utterly sincere.
I don't know. Life has become so strange as of late.
It will only continue to get weirder and weirder. That's the beauty of it. And one day it will become so odd that the concept of normalcy will be a very, very, very vague memory. Something that just doesn't quite fit anymore when you try to slide back into it.
I was scrounging for food in the desert a week ago, and now I've come into more money than I've ever seen in my entire life.
I know.
That gave me 1,500 platinum pieces without question. Who is that?
Someone who is very desperate for a very good solution to a very pressing problem.
Huh.
They know you do good work. They know you are one of us. They know we all do good work, including you, very much so. Your talent with potions is something I have never seen in my entire life. And I've watched alchemists before. You have a gift, Fervis Flare. And the more you put confidence in that gift, the more you are going to see such wonderful things come to fruition. So, I know a week ago, you were hurting, hungry, covered in sand that never seems to go away. But that was also a week ago. And it is good to think of the past, don't get me wrong, it gives us good perspective to our current present, but
Gives you a kind of... Is it though?
not all of it. But it is a good reminder to remain humble in a way. That we did not come from greatness, you or I. We came from a harsh land, with harsh weather. Unfortunately for you, with harsh people. And in some cases of my own harsh people. But with that past, with those experiences, we've come to here. A beautiful land, full of green, with good people, and good food, and hope for a better future. And sometimes it's better to just focus on that. And she's gonna pull him into a hug.
I'm just gonna finish up on this and then we'll go to bed.
Would you like me to stay? I can meditate, or I can focus on something else, and at least that way I can give you some company.
I think
Or I can... Then how about you finish up? I'll meditate, and then afterwards we'll call it a night. Okay?
Sounds good. And he will finish up on that potion.
And Esther will meditate. I don't know if Conrad's back or not.
I mean,
He's still muted.
He was here, but now he gone.
he gone.
Yeah.
That was an intense moment. Shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh. Somebody just give Fervis a hug. Somebody give Fervis's self-esteem a hug.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Esther did. It's okay. Esther's gonna work on it.
Thank you.
You guys, fuck spreadsheets, am I right?
Mm.
Esther
Giving
sees a
up-
lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm giving off a lot of business major vibes today. I don't like it, but it's helping.
You're gonna be a business major. What are you
Shut up!
talking about?
Shut up!
Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Plan to create less spreadsheets.
I just imagine that Zinnia is spending those 4 hours where everybody else is asleep and they don't need to rest, just sitting down with spreads of paper all around themselves and
Yep.
Yep.
Screaming.
mhm.
Yep. At least he doesn't have to remember the fucking commands for Google Sheets.
Like Xena and Fervis are both in solidarity of, I don't need sleep, I need answers.
See, but I'm the one that can get 4 hours of rest and be fully rested. You're fucked.
Yeah.
I have catnap potions on hand.
No, you need to put all of those aside for filling your order.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fair.
And Esther will ban Gareel from casting.
I mean,
the
if you use
fucking
catnap
restoration.
potions to make more catnap potions, you're kind of turning a profit.
But that's the same logic as drinking caffeine, so you have enough time to make more caffeine, and that's just bad for you.
Oh, he's back. Hello.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You're
timer.
selling your coffee.
Can't.
It's okay. There was just a very emotional moment.
Oh yeah, no, I heard most of it. I just had to run to the line.
Fair. All right. Yeah. How many hours go by, Conrad?
So as you guys get ready to rest, it was
Sure.
basically 2 hours till nighttime. First, you
Yeah.
can stay up the extra 2 hours to finish it tonight if you like.
Yep.
Sleep in 2 hours instead. You guys
Yes.
don't have to rush in the morning, so.
Esther will wait with you for the 2 hours, and then go off to. Basically, she's gonna go off to the dungeons for a little bit.
You watch as the dwarves come in and basically begin to help out with the potion making. It seems extra hands make it much lighter work for Fervis. They've almost adopted him at this point, just between them all.
Esther's very, very happy at that.
But Fervis, by the end of that 4 hours, let's see that alchemy check.
Feign advantage.
Yep. Secondary advantage from help from the dwarves.
Yep, so that's advantage plus.
Could they have gotten guidance from my people, if you asked them?
Yeah, could I have?
Yeah, you could have.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Advantage plus,
you
alchemy
go.
check. 23. Uh, 24.
24. DC is 22. Okay.
Oh, thank
So,
God. I
you
rolled
have
an 11.
successfully created your first potion of glibness. So, this potion, once drank, for the standard duration of glibness, which I believe is an hour? Or is it 8? Glibness, 1 hour. You make charisma checks. You can replace any number you roll with a 15. And no matter what no matter what you say, magic that would determine if you were telling the truth indicates that you were being truthful.
The roll becomes a 15?
Yes. It's
Or
it's
is
an
it
it's an upgraded version of that rogue ability.
Okay, cool. So they can also compound that with their modifier as well.
The base roll becomes 15.
The base roll becomes 15, and they can just add their modifier.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Basically, you
So-
cannot roll below a 15 on the d20 effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will. Feign
Basically, Rosalind could roll 3 ones in a row and still be fine.
Yeah. And I will feign Rosalind. Okay, the first glibness potion is done.
Rosalind is asleep.
I am off to bed, and I will play. I'll just.
The Fane will give her the
It's
message
like-
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he'll have like one of the doors is just hand that to Rosalind. He'll like put a note on it. It's like this is the first of a couple. And it's just like hand that to Rosalind in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed.
The dwarves clean up after you as you do so, kind of getting the workshop ready for the morning, as most of them are at least kind of nocturnal at this point.
Yeah.
Just from living underground for so long. So you now have 2 sets of ingredients left to
Yep.
make luminous potions.
Yeah.
Esther, you said you go down to the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
So you head down there. It's quiet at this time of night. Most of the dwarves, any who are vaguely spiritual, tend to sit with the firebirds. The chapel is this kind of sacred area that are generally left to you guys.
Okay. She wants to try that magic surge again.
The blessing of Mistra,
No, the surge like she did earlier.
The fire.
Basically, the letting control of the magic.
Ah, okay. The phoenix magic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, give me a D100.
Big hot
Alright.
fire.
During, say, for like an hour, and then this happens, could she do planar training?
So that'll be part of this training, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, just for an hour, pretty much, just to before bed. All right, D100. Fuck.
I'm excited but also terrified.
35.
That's new.
You got a 34 last time, right?
30.
30? Okay. So in that case, 35 would be... Okay. How are you trying to manifest this magic right now?
The way that she was the last time.
So
By
at the back?
flexing. No,
Okay,
more
okay,
to
okay.
her. Oh,
so,
where's
like-
she focusing it on the
Yeah,
body?
where are you focusing?
The hands.
Hands? Okay. You kind of try to focus it. Once at one point you actually cast Burning Hands by accident. Because it's a very similar feeling summoning your Genasi magic.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of soot all over the place at this point. But as you're trying to focus it longer, having already used your single use of it daily, you keep trying to focus, and you kind of cough out one of your fire breaths by accident. It's beginning to frustrate you. And you begin to summon it once more. And you basically... Apologies, gonna be kind of gross. Each of your fingernails basically shoots off like little firebolts and then immediately grow back.
Okay, that's lovely. Fuck.
It's a very strange feeling.
Hmm.
We're done with the JoJo references last session.
Oh, is that a Josh reference?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of them just shoots his fingernails.
Oh, terrifying. Okay.
Give me a second.
Horrifying.
35. Shoot off and regrow fingernails.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not gonna be consistent with the same D100 number.
Oh, damn it. Oh, fuck. Alright. Well, shit.
Like, keep track of them, but the number's not the important part.
Wait, so the magic surge you can only do once a day?
No, I was just doing it once. It's the magic search you can do as many times as you want per day, but your burning hands from being a Genasi is once a day.
Yeah. I figured that. Okay.
Considering you've done the magic search 3 times today already.
Alright. After that, then she'll kind of head up to bed.
You do so. Garelu's kind of waiting for you, like half awake, reading his book, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm not using any magic to stay awake today."
Good.
As you kind of walk over, he's got Jade kind of sitting in his lap. He's reading to her. He's basically reading her advanced physics.
That's okay.
That's just what Garelu reads.
The cousin
Yeah.
of Throckmorton is skateboarding.
Actually, here. Esther's gonna... Did Esther get the book back from Rosalind?
I don't know.
Probably not. Esther's gonna try to summon the book.
Appears in your hand.
Wonderful. Do you have any fairy tales?
I know some Genasi stories, but I'm not the greatest storyteller.
Oh no, she's asking the book.
I know, Garelu responds instead, because he's trying his best. It opens up to the page of the smut book.
Oh god, no. Esther's gonna close the book and just... Here. Did you ever hear the story about the vestiges? And just kind of slip into that.
You do so, and halfway through, Garelu starts to kind of, basically write down little notes of his own, how he originally heard the tale, and then how he historically found out about the tale, and how they're kind of like, mix and match. But as she seems to be thoroughly enjoying this and eventually falls asleep. And as usual, you both lay down in each other's arms and get some rest. So, Ashta, roll me a stealth check for getting to bed.
Oh my god.
20.
Okay. You successfully evade the chef. Despite her divine powers.
I think probably yours. Passive's 20.
I'm debating whether he used pass without trace.
Clang, 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 clang.
The armor doesn't.
His
Armor explicitly doesn't do that.
You are suitably distracted, though, doing finances, Esther.
Wrong
Sorry.
I'm
one.
doing fine. There we go.
Um,
And all is right with the world again.
They're
question.
just joke numbers.
do you
So
find
question-
Sammy in the morning or at night?
Probably the morning, but Zinnia's gonna just note down when she goes to trance.
Okay.
Because that is only 4-hour stuff and I have more time.
Alright, that's good.
Question. Since Ashta has never been there before, what does Rosalind's childhood room look like?
Arlie, if you'd like to describe it.
I'm a little bit torn on that because I'm not sure how personalized it really was. Given that you said that, yeah, it was her regular room, but also there was this implication that there's no permanency of residence unless you're, actively living there. Unless I misunderstood that.
Yeah, you would have had a childhood room until you basically decided you were adventuring instead.
Okay.
In which case, a lot of your stuff was basically put in a little private area. But
And
it's, if needed, it is given to you.
Last time she was here, she packed up all her stuff and took it on to the castle.
So,
So, it's...
Alright.
Even
pretty
if
impersonal.
If it's the same room, yeah, pretty impersonal. There might be, a window box built on the outside of the window with plants still in it. Just from ages ago that she had put on there and kept things growing in for a long time. Other than that, it's a simple bed, a simple chest. There might be a table and chair, maybe even a mirror. Rug on the floor, probably red. I bet that hasn't changed. Red curtains around the window. Yeah, she probably didn't do anything that left very, very permanent marks anywhere. She wasn't a kid who, carved initials into, the bed frame or anything.
Okay. If Ashta looks out into the box now, are there any roses there?
There might be small ones. Not the full rose bushes, but the little, miniature roses.
Maybe it's just starting to sprout because it is still spring.
Any thistle by any chance?
Actually, not something she would have, purposely planted and grown.
Okay, but it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Wow. That's up to Rosalind.
You know what? Can we just roll a d20 for, chance?
Sure,
See
go for
if
it.
something sprouted there without her planting it.
go
What
for
do
it.
you say the odds are?
You're a bit too south for this most of the time, so anything above 15.
Okay. It's a 9.
Okay. I'm just kind of glance around. So... He's kind of unsure what to do with himself.
The roses out there. I planted red and white and yellow because I wanted a little bit of variety. Also, that window box is very sturdy. And an excellent boost for getting up onto the roof.
There's a narrowing of the eyes.
She just smiles back. I've had a great deal of experience. All while growing up. Eventually the guards figured out where to look when I went missing for a few hours.
damn it. He walks over, picks her up, and wings go out. He floats out the window, up onto the roof.
Okay, the moment he went toward the window, she started going eep a little bit, and because she was not sure what was happening there, but
Mhm.
there's giggles. And she just settles onto the roof, looks back, leans back, and looks up at the stars.
We're only staying here for a bit, not for hours.
That's all right. Tell me,
Oh,
did anybody ever
it's a
tell
nice view.
you stories of the constellations?
Not really. He's also not looking at the sky right now. He is looking everywhere else.
As you do so, roll perception.
Right. 22.
Samsir is on their back looking straight up into the sky. Spread eagle.
On the roof?
Yeah.
Like, how far?
Like 20 feet away.
Actually, like, triple takes and just, like, taps Rosalind. Like, head nods over that direction.
Oh. She sits up. Samsir,
The eyes kind of turn to you.
are you all right?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm very tired, Rosalind.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know.
Sorry, too. This is a bit of my fault.
It's not your fault that city burnt down.
I meant the Duke's sudden, inspiration.
No, I've been trying to get him to take a break for a while now.
It's the
Oh,
sort
I
of
won't
thing where
apologize for
it's
that.
terrible to succeed, isn't it?
I at least have the benefit of healing magic. Functional immortality relative to you guys. He's an old man doing his best. He needs a break.
We'll do our best to give him one, then.
I'm just here contemplating how much suffering I'm going to go through over the course of the next few weeks.
I do promise that I'll be here to relieve some of it at some point. I'm just not sure when.
I appreciate it. On the upside, him being gone means I can delegate to whoever I want. There's a couple little bastards that I wouldn't mind giving extra work to.
That sounds very reasonable.
Well, if it
Anyone in
functions.
particular?
Just people who tend to talk too much and not listen enough.
Hmm.
You know, it's weird. When I decided to be a druid after I was a wizard, I really didn't expect things to turn out this way. Spent years studying and then years experiencing. And now I'm closer to it, like a prime minister of a small town, whenever the Duke steps out.
Well, I suppose, technically, as a druid, you were in some way attached to governance?
Oh yeah. The large druid is one who inspired me first, after all. Just trying to emulate what he was able to do.
It's not a bad thing to try.
It's working. It's just exhausting. I don't know how he did it for so long. He only did it with one working leg.
Well, you may have already found the answer. I believe, from what I've heard, he did tend to delegate.
He also cheated a bit.
Oh yes. He summoned spirits to do it for him, but it's not a skill I have. Don't like, forcing Faye to do things for me instead. Feels wrong. Plants are a different story, but even then, a surprising number around here are inhabited by dryads and the like. So instead I have to rely on humanoids, who it's far more difficult to magically compel to do things properly.
What's your thoughts on the way everything's set up then with magical crops and all that?
Oh, that's just offering extra life to the land. We take some of our magical energy, turn it into nutrition and life, and feed it to the land. And the land thanks us by giving us food, giving us life in return. Just an accelerated part of the cycle.
Sometimes doing things more and faster is just exhausting.
Yeah.
Do you think the land might get tired?
Probably. But what are we gonna do? Stop feeding everyone? They,
Fine.
well,
Fine.
I want to study what the old elves used to do. They functioned pretty much entirely off of magic for hundreds and thousands of years. The land never got tired. The land just became magical.
And it's an interesting avenue of thought.
I think it worked better because the elves at the time were part of the land. They weren't humanoids living on top of it. The Feywild, the humanoids were the irregularity. Maybe the land here likes humanoids better. After all, every humanoid who's ever passed has, well, most of them at least, have become part of it once again. Pays to have more of us. It's an investment.
Ash is gonna give another look around.
Go for it.
15.
Peaceful up here. You can still see the kind of rebuilding efforts as well. It seems a lot of the drow and more darkness-oriented races who lived in the underground portion of the city of Peduncle have taken over construction for the night. The city at this point doesn't ever completely stop.
There's a quick faint over to Rosno, like, okay, I think we've been up here enough. It's too peaceful.
Only you. Rosalind will still get up. Well, you should get some rest. We should as well.
Zir kind of nods. Fully turns their attention to you finally, Rosalind. Treat the land you have now right. Don't let it just be a fancy flying artifact that you live upon. Connect to it. Same like you do with the people. We're all part of a big cycle.
We will try.
You nod. You see them settle into a stance to begin their trance.
I think we've already taken steps towards that.
Don't stop walking then.
Same to you.
They nod
Oh.
and you see the trance take over.
We'll leave you to the sky. Ashta picks Rosalind up again.
Rosalind was just in the middle of casting levitation on herself to step off the edge of the roof, but get there.
Nope, bridal carry.
She's very light.
Mhm.
Magic.
Lands back in, closes the window, closes the door, alarm spells everywhere.
Yep. So, you guys begin to take your rest. Zinnia Sammy basically sends you a note that they're going to trance early. They'll be ready in the morning as soon as you are.
Okay, cool.
In the meantime, Fervis,
Yeah.
as you finally lay down for the night, exhausted but feeling fulfilled, you finally have the success with the potion. Immediately, head hits the pillow, lights out. Mentally.
Yes.
Fane kind of boot up partway through the night. Progressed very quickly lately.
Huh?
Do you want to do what Esther did? Find out who you were before?
Or
You don't have to. We just want to know.
I mean, yeah, sounds great.
Feel the ancestral memories take over. You appear. Interestingly, as a Genasi, again. You're kind of just walking around this city of metal. Some kind of brass, it seems like. Walking down the street, peddling your wares, selling these like crystals that have swirling flames inside of them to passing humanoids mostly. Visitors to this land. Feel the memories dip, and you appear again. Older this time. It seems like a desert, but a desert of ash. We have embers riding on the back of a serpentine mount, bow and arrow in hand, seemingly hunting some sort of meal. Leading 3 or 4 people, not a huge amount, seemingly salamanders. And you come across the Genasi that you were previously, as time speeds up in the memory. You watch almost like a slideshow of the two getting to know each other. And eventually conceiving. Child. Not of flesh, but of flame. You go to the fountain of creation, looking through both sets of eyes at the same time. And summon a child. Genasi. More humanoid than the one you inhabited previously. Rather than a being of swirling flames and magma in a vaguely humanoid form, this is a mostly human, red baby. You see the departure. A couple years later, where the salamander returns to their home, hunting again. The Genasi goes to the material plane. With that full knowledge that the child wasn't thriving in the plane of fire. It was too intense. They were too human. Looking around the landscape you're in, roll me a history check.
History check. Could I use Feign to get advantage?
You're technically already using the Feign to go through your ancestral memories.
Okay. So just a regular history check?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my 20's being kind of low.
28. Okay. You recognize the place you're currently in
Accidentally.
is Peduncle. When it was just starting. And time fast forwards a bit more, and you watch as the child grows and grows. And eventually, as the child is a full-grown adult, kneels down in front of who you've heard of at this point, but the rest of the party knows as the old Archdruid. Grows to become one of the other Archdruids of the land. The Archdruid of the desert. It's not the same title as it is now, but it has the same authority. And you witness a long, long life as his Archdruid. Until they eventually settle down and, in their sleep, pass away peacefully. In the same place that you were born 100 years before you were there. See a small little Fervis being carried out of a tent, crying and whining. In that same spot. Your Fane kind of begin to narrate for you that you come from a very pure line of Genasi. No generational skips. It's fascinating.
Oh.
The further we go back, it seems you're descended from the first human-like fire elementals. And have been as such throughout your flame's life.
Wow. Fascinating.
Would you like to dream, Fervis?
I suppose.
Then, do the math while you watch the flames. Your dream descends into basically like the equivalent of watching a campfire on a chair, but instead you are that salamander. Sorry, the salamander once more, watching over a lake of magma and flames as the molten rock floats by, occasional bursts of steam. It's strangely calming. You do formulas as this mindscape keeps going. And you can each take your training for the night. Make your rolls.
Yeah. So just no straight intelligence.
Yep.
13. Do I just...
Yeehaw.
Yeah, DC 13.
Yeah.
So that's 8 hours, right?
8 hours.
Standard rest.
Cool.
So, you each awake, fully rested. You guys have the meeting in roughly 7 hours for most, 5 for Fervis because he has to sleep in to get the full rest.
Mhm.
So, what are you guys doing?
Sorry, how many hours are the sleep again? I always forget.
It's 8 hours of sleep. You guys are back to standard long rest.
Okay.
He's gonna go find Sammy.
You do so, obviously, before everyone else picks out.
Yeah.
And she's happy to help you with sums. She is an absolute whiz at this stuff. Like, figures and numbers, all the shyness and uncertainty just melts off her.
Saving throw was that?
Versus attraction?
Yeah.
Charisma saving throw.
Whoops.
Oh.
I'll let you interpret the numbers as you wish.
Yeah.
He's very flustered.
11, as in uh-oh.
He's kind of flustered. I don't know if it's about the math or the person, but they're a little flustered while doing it. While doing some of the math, they're talking about trade routes a little bit. How would we set it up if we're flying and we don't have a
hold
set
on.
schedule yet?
Hold on, let's make it easier for you. And she like leans across like to write, like basically like leans into you and corrects a couple of the numbers for you on your paper, and it goes back to what she was doing.
In like Rosalind's feigned messages before she wakes up, there's just gonna be one from Zinnia that just
The voice message of excitement.
I've got one thing from Fervis. Apparently the potions went well, and from Zinnia. Interesting.
Zinnia, what?
Never mind. They seem to be doing well. It was a
I wish you would just use something else other than never mind.
Don't worry about it.
That's even worse.
that's so much worse.
he like just like, you're a politician. How do you?
Rayla just offers from inside the armor. It's all right.
Politics follow
It's-
rules. You do not.
Yeah, you break most of them.
That's all right. I love you anyway.
There you go. You're getting it.
Zinnia's gonna go through trade route ideas, how to get that started, how the hell you calculate expenses.
Look at the bell curve. No, not that bell curve.
Oh, there's 2 bell curves. Zinnia.
Zeta! Okay!
There's the biggest question is in terms of transport. How do you transport large materials? She offers a couple solutions. One being more platforms, especially if there's going to be free trade. That's one way to do it. But if you'd rather do regulated trade with like a tax rate, instead you could have basically a number of bags of holding, and only certain traders are allowed to use them. And basically they trade to go-betweens in different cities that have to sell from there. That way you guys have a fixed margin as opposed to whatever the market gives you.
Zinnia was just
There's,
looking.
there's another offer of getting flying traders such as Aarakocra, spellcasters, druids, who can basically change shape. But there's a lot.
Boxes of holding. We could disenchant a bag of holding and try and re-enchant it on something bigger. Same storage capacity, but just a bigger space to stuff it into instead of like that bag of holding limitation.
Yeah, you guys could try to do what Kakwin does, where they basically have a number of dead drops around the circuit they always make, that are basically extra-dimensional spaces. That anyone who trades leaves the stuff there, leaves the payment, and it works out on a trust system. They have less of a... With Kakwin, it's less of a gold-based economy, it's more of barter, because they're so isolated from a lot of the major cities.
Zinnia will suggest that for the first year we'd be gold based. At
Shipping
least for the
crates
first year.
of holding.
Just because the first year is what we need to protect the island and we need the gold for it. We need so much.
In that case, I recommend doing some sort of... those platforms you guys have, get a few of them, rent them from the Citadel, pay them one rate, charge anyone who wants to use them to trade themselves as a transportation fee. It will encourage those who have flying capabilities to go them themselves and be able to skip the fee, so you get a lot of stuff from Soul in the desert. They have good connection to the Jauncey that way. And they've got a lot of airborne-based materials, so they probably make good sales. And she just keeps going and like rattling the stuff off.
She's just like, oh, you're a genius. I love. Yeah, you're great.
She doesn't even notice the
love
flunder.
that.
She's so like into the logistics of different potential opportunities. You can see she's trying to nettle Lentiel there as often as she can.
We
Especially with Lentiel and Anther being very close cities.
We do want it to be a trader, but we're not trying to make the castle in Anther 2 sort of thing. I think we're looking for a more independent type.
Yeah, makes sense. Then.
Technically, if we're an independent state, we could raise taxation rates more than local taxation. Isn't that right?
Yeah, technically. And because you guys are working self-sufficiently right now, you guys don't have a huge market economy. Instead, you have a goods economy. Gold is only valuable to the people who are coming in to trade. The people who live there don't really care much for it at the moment.
Yeah, the only people who really care about the gold are the people who are.
They're bringing in resources for you, so they're a source of revenue for you, but the people who are living there just need the things that come in. Especially if you guys fund a lot of the purchasing. It is a basically investment into the city, but keep whatever's left over to fund it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just have to figure out the transportation, how you want to do that. You guys have made a presence and made it well known, and a lot of business people are looking at opportunities once they get past their superstition of whatever you guys are.
Yeah, Citadel renting seems like the best idea, just for the sake of those, but we do need. We need to take on more people with the training to move them, because right now we have one highly skilled and then one who's in training.
I'd recommend going to Citadel. That's where you guys got the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically give them soldiers' wages. They're acting as pseudo-mercenaries at the moment. But they don't have to worry about any combat, so they're good investments for both you and the people at Citadel.
Oh, I forgot about wages. Oh, we have so many soldiers.
Or offer them the same thing you offer the dwarves. A place to live as long as they work for services rendered.
Yeah? You're
Maybe you can find
You're
some
right.
a good variety of veterans who are willing to do it kind of part-time. Rose doesn't spend much time doing it right now, so... They'd be free, only working a few hours a day. They can still
Yeah.
retire, make a bit of money on the side, but they also have a place to stay and a new community.
Yeah, and usually the stones are on request as well, so they can have more time off than they are.
And because they're veterans, if they choose to train, it's basically their choice. They can work with, they can practice, they can use old skill.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'd say see if the residents of Anther, if there's any old veterans from Citadel. That might be the most useful people to come for now, as well as the Rangers, to help basically give them a place to all settle.
So when are you heading to Darren Core? Or Citadel, or to Prince Rainier? When are you leaving Anther?
Technically, it's my choice whenever.
Don't want to walk? We could offer. There'd be a lot of detours, but we could offer transportation.
I mean, sure, if you're willing. Make it easier for me. I'd hate to have to go north through the hinterlands or south through the Plains of Wrath, and going through the Patrick Forest. It seems just as bad.
We could ask everyone else, but usually, I suppose it could work.
If you don't mind, I can keep doing some with you up there if you need. Help you guys figure out your business right now. Don't worry, I'll charge a slight premium.
How much do you charge?
For what, advising or for doing the work for you?
Advising.
A night.
Advising... advising it'd be about, call it 50 gold a day. Days worth of work. Frankly, I think in a week or two you wouldn't need me anymore, so...
We'll discuss it with everyone else. And I will let you know. I do have sending, so I can send a message whenever.
Perfect. She finally looks up the papers and smiles when she says, well, you guys have to get going, right? I heard something about a meeting?
At around noon or 3. Yeah, meeting.
She looks out the window, it's almost noon.
Shit, I should go. Thank you so much. And Zinnia's collecting all their papers again.
Yep. In the meantime, did you guys need to do anything before the meeting?
No, but at some point Fervis wants to bring up what he saw in his dreams to someone.
I mean, Esther's on the castle.
Yeah,
hmm
bring it up to Esther.
Esther was actually gonna go find Fervis whenever she woke up.
He would still be asleep. But as you kind of busy yourself the first couple hours in the morning, you can find him afterwards.
Okay, how many hours would that be?
Just 2.
Okay, then she's gonna train.
So, you do so, and you eventually hear Fervis's door creak open, and a messy-haired young man walks out.
Good morning.
Morning.
Esther's entire arm is on fire.
Are you good or?
Oh shit! Pats it out. Sorry, I was training.
I'm combusting a lot more lately. Are you okay?
I made a deal with the Phoenix. Fervis.
Right.
I'm just.
Just infinitely getting more.
Like you do.
I told you, life is going to get weirder and weirder, and eventually normalcy will feel like a far-off dream. Speaking of,
Remember how you told us that you were the old Leo in a past life? Well, as it turns out, and he'll recount what he saw.
So, you mean to tell me you were the first humanoid genasi? Humanoid elemental that wasn't the fire or air coalesced in some sort of humanoid form?
Uh-huh. I was the previous, not really archdruid, but same sort of deal for The desert.
A very slow smile is spreading across Esther's face, and just, did I not tell you that you were important?
And he gives a shrug.
Throughout history, your soul has found its some way into a position of power. Protect those.
I suppose.
But that's... Don't tell Gariel unless you want to spend 3 hours explaining in vivid detail everything about that dream. I will tell you that much.
And he's like, noted.
On the other hand, you saw the fires of creation, yes?
I did.
So we both have ties. It's very
With
interesting.
Gaps.
That is the weird part. Most Genasi lineages, as you know, skip several generations. I have ancestors who are humanoid. I believe some are tiefling, but suppose we both come from very odd lines of Genasi.
Suppose.
You haven't skipped a generation.
No?
I have 9 siblings. All of them are Genasi. That doesn't happen.
No.
I'd be very curious to see if we share any blood.
Maybe.
You said you saw yourself, correct? As a baby?
Yeah.
Can you describe those people who were around you, perhaps?
And I'll go ahead and describe that.
Are there any that sound familiar to Esther?
Sorry. Repeat again?
Basically, she's asking him to describe the people that he saw in the dream that were surrounding him when he was a baby. Baby Fervis, anyways.
No, none would be in particular.
Okay.
The tribe he was in was a larger one than your tribe, because they're a bit less nomadic. They tend to be in larger groups. Because of that, and around the time he'd be born, no one you'd recognize. He's not too much. He's not too much younger than you.
He wasn't born into an exiled tribe?
He was technically, but they're less nomadic, comparatively.
Interesting, okay.
Remember, it's not an exiled tribe. It's a tribe of the descendants, pretty much, of exiles.
Good to know. Okay.
All sins of the father type thing.
Mhm.
So while there's a bit of, poorly raised people because of bad situations, it's still technically a tribe, quote unquote, legally.
Okay. We'll have to look into that then.
Yeah.
Be very curious to see if you can access any of that old magic.
I've never been particularly good at it.
Alright, it comes in time. Often there's an incident during childhood where magic takes a form. At least in my own personal experience. But that's really interesting, honestly. I suppose we've all had very odd past lives. I wonder what Caius was in his past life.
Who knows?
I'll have to ask him one day. Anyhow, we have the meeting in several hours. If you see the dwarves, spread the word. Just let them know that it's not going to be a meeting about rules or anything like that. It's more so just to urge them to start organizing themselves in terms of clusters of people with similar jobs.
Right. I actually probably need to keep working on those glibness potions.
How did it go, by the way? I know I left a bit early.
It was it was a success. It's been carted to Rosalind already, so
That's
It is in
wonderful!
possession. So
And Esther's gonna pull you into a hug. I'm gonna roll for decent hug.
Hug. Fervis, it occurs to you that you have a potion that you don't know if it currently works right now.
hold on.
Hold on.
This
What?
one didn't go as well, but apparently this one was made from the Imagineering. We Imagineered the ingredients, and it just didn't take as well. So this is, from my understanding, is supposed to allow me to speak a little better, but not as good as a glibness potion. If
Would-
that makes any sense.
Would you like me to try it?
For if I tried it on myself, how insightful are you, by any chance?
Relatively so. Are you asking me kind of like what her proficiency is?
Yeah.
+7. She's proficient in insight.
Okay, so I'm going to test this out on myself, because you have the higher insight than me.
Okay. Shut up.
So look, it's just here goes nothing, I guess. And
Alright.
he's gonna take the potion.
Drink it. It's not a great flavor. It's very bitter. Almost like a coffee flavored cough syrup.
Yeah.
When you drink it, yeah, you're not sure if it immediately comes into effect or not. You would have to try it, basically.
And I'm going to try lying to Esther.
Alright, what do you try to lie about?
I don't know, man.
Alright, just curious.
At age 5, I was born without a face.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, go ahead
Like
and
less
make,
outlandish.
Lie about like your favorite color, your favorite food, something like that.
I've always enjoyed, and then like something that I've always fucking hated.
Black licorice, personal favorite.
Black licorice, personal favorite. Yeah, basically. That sort of deal.
Okay, go ahead and make a deception check. You do not have advantage.
You know what? Make it 2 truths and a lie sort of thing.
Yeah, 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
That's
And then- Oh,
Jesus Christ!
It's at least convincing.
I do have a +4 in charisma.
Hold on, what? You have a +4 to charisma? What the shit?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I've had nowhere to put my ASIs anymore, so I just.
Oh, that's right.
Jesus
Dexterity!
Christ!
Or like, I guess not Constitution anymore either.
Oh
Oh,
my
shit!
god!
Fair enough.
You've got a better
I
deception
was like,
roll than
yeah.
Rosalind!
Why not
That's
have-
hilarious.
That's
What
very
happened
funny
to-
to me.
yeah.
Fervis is a street rat. He had to learn.
I had to learn how to lie to people. Yeah, that was my.
He's just
that
a
was
rat.
my thing.
Can
yeah.
Esther roll insight to see?
Yeah,
Honestly,
yes, definitely. I don't think you have to get a natural 20 to pass, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit! It's a good lie, but you remember, but you vaguely recall him not liking certain other similar foods, and you're just like, hold on a second.
It's
Alright,
more
that's fairly
mom
good.
memory than insight
No,
at
I
that
didn't
point.
feel anything from that.
There's electricity in the air with how much lie is going on right now.
Oh yeah.
That was fairly impressive, but I know which one is the lie.
And yeah, it's hard to explain, but I didn't feel any immediate effects from it. So
Hmm.
probably just a bust and a fluke, if anything.
Well,
Though
mi-
flukes are the most common fish in the ocean, so if you do fish for a fluke, you'll probably get one.
I did not fucking know that. I didn't know that.
Please. Is that another deception roll? Is it?
Just roll this. I'm really confused. Is that actually?
Yeah,
Hold on, John, is that a true thing or no?
yeah, that's a true thing.
In that case, roll
fuck!
persuasion.
Oh my god.
I'm not as good as at persuasion, but yeah, persuasion. 17.
I mean, you
What do I
believe him.
All right,
He's kind of a siphon for like weird facts.
Wow.
fair enough.
Completely snap a flounder.
In that case,
Here, I
I'm-
thought it was a snipe hunting sort of thing.
oh my god. I'm going to go back into the dungeons to train for a little while. You're more than welcome to accompany me, but I figure you're rather more interested in working on your potion.
I mean, yeah. I do.
All
need to
right.
work on this.
I'm going to go see if I can not set myself on fire. Anis is going to go into the dungeon and keep training for a bit.
You can basically do so for the remaining 5 hours until the meeting.
Okay. Is there any person that she could train with to double that time?
You'd have to give me an example of like who.
Like you said,
What-
it's
what-
planar.
It's
So what-
planar, yeah.
Would Ashta's dwarves, maybe?
No, they're not particularly planar. They're closer to paladins than anything else.
I don't know of anybody that we know besides Ashta that's actually planar related.
You're not sure. I have an answer that would work, but it's up to you to figure out what that is, basically. There's a few options.
Hmm.
In the meantime, Ashton Rosalind, did you guys get up to anything?
I'd
Ash will- Okay.
I'd like to do his health necklace, but I'm also not getting any help for it, so maybe not right now. Everybody's busy.
Begin the process.
Yeah, I began the process last night with 2 hours. I've got 2 more left. Is the thing.
Ah, okay.
Can she
Well,
actually?
I forget about that.
Yeah, she's got the blueprint for it, the formula.
Oh no, separate thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a second, Sky.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say next night, it's fine.
It makes more sense to do it this session.
I'm
Alrighty.
just gonna say, basically, if there's anything that you guys need Rosalind for, that those who are down here on an Anther, ask. If not, there might be some. She'll go looking for the book.
I was gonna say you could also lend Samsir a hand.
She'll probably do that. Maybe just a little bit of training in draconic practice. Just a
Okay.
little.
The book is technically up with Esther though right now.
I know, she'll go
Yeah.
looking for it and then realize, oh, it's gone.
Esther yoinked it. Sorry, bro.
Ashta, anything major?
How long would Rosalind be staying in Anther for, like, the little bit in the morning?
It would be, probably up until they head up. I assume about an hour before the meeting? So,
Okay.
I assume.
Okay, and then he's staying down there. Could he just stay nearby her and just do at least a little bit of wing training for himself?
You know what? If he does wing training while I do draconic practice, and then I'm helping Samsir, could Rosalind have Ashta come in and sort of be in the room, and she starts almost training him in politics in the vein of, alright, look at this person, insight, and tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think, and feign back and forth. It doesn't even have to be training hours necessarily, just she's starting that process of getting him a little more aware of how these things work. Would that work?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
If he'd
You
rather
witnessed-
not, then he can wing train all that
Ah,
time.
he-
Yeah.
He'd be
Actually,
willing.
you witness Rosalind in full politician mode. It's interesting. It's almost like a different variety of her that you only ever see her pull out on people who she's usually trying to oppose or convince or coerce in some way. But today she's the attentive, almost manager of the town. Most of it is delegating due to the specificity of the problems and not being around lately. A lot of it is figure out who they need to go to and who you need advice from. But you do pretty well. It's something you've been trained to do. And Dashta, she is a whirlwind of efficiency.
He's gonna do his best to help, inciting everything he can.
Give me just like a singular insight check to see how well you do.
Right. 28.
Yeah, you are a watcher on the right hand.
You pick up more
Most
than
people
she
who show up
possibly could.
are most people who show up are frustrated farmers, most of them, or frustrated miner or craftsmen, who are just trying to figure out some issues they're having. A lot of the ones that get brought up to Rosalind are more specific dealings with policy, with questioning is this illegal or not. Who do we have to go to find out what the law is for this, and general stuff like that. It's work that's been being split up between about 15 people right now, but Rosalind's take the no one's sure where to go kind of cases.
He's also just gonna do his best to judge intention for the sake of prioritizing.
Yeah, as mentioned, it's
Of,
mostly just frustrated people who work.
Yep, that's fine.
Alright, so, going back a little bit, because I forgot to do it. Esther, as you go to sleep, you attempt to contact Thoth.
Yes,
Just that same way you've been doing lately.
pretty much.
Give me a intelligence check or a D100, your choice.
Let's try intelligence checks. It's specialized, I suppose, for him.
Actually, what was the intelligence check you rolled for your training? 19? Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
So you go to rest and try to think of that kind of limitless library that you appeared in last time, that you know to be the kind of resting ground of Thoth. And you appear there kind of watching as he's reading a book on either side of his head, holding it up so that the eyes of the ibis are looking at them. As he reads, he's kind of talking to himself, and physical manifestations of each word he speaks appears in the air and floats off around him.
Hello.
Almost like a phantom of himself splits off and sits down at the table next to you as you watch the other one still reading those books, and kind of looks down at you and says, welcome back. Esther, right?
Yes.
Nice to see you again. Do you have need of me? Oh god, it's only been a couple days, right? Okay, good.
About that, yes.
Last time I stopped paying attention to someone, it was 17 years, and they've been calling me the whole time. Nice to see you again.
It's lovely to see you as well. I had a few questions, I suppose.
Yes, go ahead.
Where do you, alright. I know this is generally considered a myth amongst my tribes, but I've been thinking more and more about bloodline, and where I started, if that makes any sense.
The theories of creation.
That, and, well, you're a god of knowledge, you know about matriarchal lines, yes?
To a degree. I'm, more of a, my domain is closer to researched knowledge, but as long as these lines have been tracked, I should have at least passing knowledge of them.
They have, actually. They're tracked through this, and Esther pulls out the stone with her family crest pretty much on it. And just,
Well, may I hold that?
of course, here. And she hands it over.
Take it, and you watch as he holds in his hand, and another version of him splits off from that body, holding the stone, and as he kind of describes in vivid detail the names of the person, you see him actually describe their physicality, and basically create a version of them that floats off into the air. Like each person in the line, you see yourself, you see all your siblings, you see your mother, you see all of her siblings, and it just keeps going and going with every single person. People you didn't even know were family, but you just thought were part of the tribe. And it just keeps going, while he's just sitting there looking at you. So, anything else you wanted to ask?
How are you doing that?
It's recorded knowledge. I'm summoning it, basically. I am the god of research, the god of knowledge, the god of memories, in a way. The god of facts, you could say. It is a simple fact who the people were
It's
that came
incredible.
before you, and this is a wonderful focus for that knowledge.
I'm glad I could provide it. Can you see where it started?
First,
The first.
alright. The line of fire or the line of air?
I'm
Or the line
sorry,
of
what?
earth? You have a little bit. The air was in there first, but it seems to have died off as the generations went on.
Uh,
Got mixed in with the line of fire and earth more so, and kind of only comes up every once in a while.
The first Mackin. The first one of my crest. The first one of my line.
You see the bodies that are kind of floating around his head now, kind of filter and filter and filter and just spin around him. And it picks out one. It goes, looks to be about 1,800 years ago. Oh, it's quite a long time for a family name. Most only lasts about 100 or so in the, well, maybe close to 600 in the Genasi lines. Well done. Let's see, Mackin. And he begins that other version of him speaking. Basically, you know just by looking at him, he's speaking fundamental truths of this person that he has no technical way of knowing. Your kind of background knowledge and what he said so far implies that it's anything that was ever written down about them or shared between them and other people not involving them is known to him.
Interesting.
And as he speaks, he says, yes. First of the Mackin line was born to mixed race Genasi and one human, who is also of mixed race. The Genasi was fire and air, and the human was fire and earth. It seems the fire took priority and the air kind of bowed to earth as it often does. Benefits of being in the desert, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, good person. Many kids. Many kids. Oh, quite the fertile line.
The stone
It's true.
passes on to the first daughter, who has a child.
That would make sense. Yes, I see it now. You Genasi have wonderful traditions, by the way.
Thank
So-
you kindly.
Mostly verbal recordings, though, and yet they still last so long. It's very impressive. It's a very powerful culture, one that you don't see as often in the mixed racial tribes. Well, I guess you both call them cities now. Let's see. So, standard good mother. Seems to have a slight tendency towards the psionics. Seems that human also had a bit of Gith blood mixed into them a long time ago. Was it mixed with
Gift
the
blood.
Genasi? Yes, very distant. Most of you humans have that somewhere in your line. Well, Genasi in your case, but most humans have it somewhere. They did come
Interesting.
before all of you, after all.
I assumed so.
Yes, they're. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that knowledge known to you folks yet? Hold on. In a fourth version of it splits off and starts to count off. It says, technically no, most of the humans don't know about that. Okay, fine. Basic explanation for your sake. And he's talking very quickly, by the way, despite the fact he has 3 other bodies reciting things on their own.
Okay, so just gonna kind of slow down, please, just a little.
Oh, sorry. And he kind of basically puts the other 3 on mute to you.
No, it's fine. I see
sorry.
where Gabriel gets some of his traits.
The research is eclectic. My apologies. Yes, the Gith, by some reports, are the fundamental humanoid. While humans are the baseline trait, before anyone but really the elves and the dwarves were around, there was Gith. Broke out of slavery from the mind flayers, kind of split off into their own, but those who existed in the material plane, they eventually mixed in with the elves and the dwarves. And once their common ancestor of, well, not common ancestor, but common template of human appeared, it spread like wildfire. Not having to live in dangerous climates helps with that, and being of the prime material plane as opposed to of the earth, or of the Fey, wild, or of the astral plane makes it easy. And you end up with humans. And because humans propagated and became mixed into most every bloodline, of pretty much everyone except for the pure elves and the pure dwarves, most of you have a little bit of gate in you. That's why you're to learn so quickly. That's why humans are those adaptable creatures they are. Sorry, that's too fast?
No, that was very insightful, actually. Thank you.
Helps. Being the god of insight helps with that. As a note, this is not. I can't promise it's factual. It's simply the best recorded knowledge that I have.
That's alright. It's better than what I currently had.
Well, yes. Benefits being a god.
I have another question.
Oh, sure,
Ma-
please.
Magic leaves a signature, yes?
Most.
Is there a way to track magic through the blood? I want to know where mine came from. I was a scion, and now I'm not.
I mean, there's ways, most likely. It would take a lot of experimenting. Probably a mixture of alchemy and simple inventing of a new spell, but most likely it could happen.
Do you have a rough idea, possibly a schematic, on how to do it?
I could theorize a few things, but creation of magic's more Mistra's domain.
Good to know. I'll ask her then. Next time I sleep, anyways. What do you know about Phoenix?
Oh, quite a bit.
What do you know about Phoenix kin?
Ah, wonderful creatures, very interesting. Usually blessed with powerful descendants, if not a much expedited rebirth cycle. Most of them end up as either sorcerers or parents to sorcerers. Most are either elementals or genasi. Quite a few humans, though, too, as their nature is quite adaptable. Yeah, there's a few clerics recorded, who were clerics or paladins, sometimes druids, of the Phoenix. A Phoenix. A couple warlocks, but not very commonly.
How
Mostly sorcerers.
many of them are marked?
Physically?
Yes.
Most. Anything that changes your fundamental nature will leave a mark, either physically or mentally. Or spiritually, I suppose.
Oh, alright, that's a relief to know.
Well, of course, where do you think your Soldar comes from? Genasi Soldar is just marks of what they were in the past. You folks haven't learned how to read it yet, though, but it is possible.
What do you mean by that?
They're writings. A form of language, almost. Kind of like if you breed rats often enough, you see a certain trend in their coats. It's not perfect, but it helps.
Can you read them?
Well, yes, I can read pretty much anything.
Could you teach me?
Theoretically. But that's not usually what I do. Research, in its own right, is holy. So if you research, I will help. I will make sure it guides you to what you need.
Where could I start on finding this research?
Well, it's up to you to find out, isn't it?
I suppose. Well, that's interesting to know. Can I ask mine, say?
Well, I suppose I'll give you one, so as not to give you a whole key to the language. Obviously this one, he points to the Phoenix one. Which is weird, because you're looking at your back. He basically summons a version of you, and shows you a basically zoomed in picture of your back. Says this is obviously a Phoenix kin mark. And he points to kind of the ones, I believe you have some like on your upper arm, right?
Yes.
He basically shows that you come from a mixed bloodline. This one specifically he shows like a small swirl. Air. This is the symbol of earth. This is the symbol of fire. They change. It's more interpretive than most languages used to. You kind of have to feel it out. This one shows the Mark of Leo, roughly translated. And this one shows a psionic-related bloodline. Simple things you know already. But it becomes apparent. It's unknown to you, but it's part of the ritual of the choosing ceremony. feeling out those things. I suppose with enough practice you could turn into a cipher.
Huh. Is there one that perhaps of something I don't know?
Yes. But that's your mystery to figure out.
May I ask which one it is specifically? I do have many, after all. It would be very hard for me.
You have some on your face, right?
Yeah, she has 2 lines going from her eyes to her chin.
Those ones. They're very difficult to translate. But, if you can figure out that, it'll be a good key to the rest.
Good to know. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just writing that down.
Fair enough.
Right, I think that's almost everything then. I asked about that and that and that. Alright, this is a long shot, and I know it's a myth in my tribe, okay? And
No myths are the most wonderful forgotten facts.
I don't know if it's actually real. But considering the fact that we're going into an area where it is rumored to be, and I've only heard this through my brother Larks, who is friends with somebody from that tribe, is the library real?
At least to the best of my recorded knowledge.
Really?
Again, I can't speak of fundamental truths of the world. I can only speak of truths of what have been recorded. There was consistent recordings that it is a real place. So, I assume, yeah.
I thought it was just a myth. Okay. That,
For all I know, it could be.
but if it was in recordings, then at least it was real at some point.
Most likely. Or a version of it.
Then that means that the answers I seek might be there. Alright. That's everything then, I suppose, for me to ask at this time. I very much appreciate you helping me.
I hope you make some wonderful, wonderful discoveries in your time.
I do. I will make sure to attribute them to you if that helps.
Oh, all knowledge is attributed to me. Don't worry. I have a very powerful domain.
Good to know. Well, bid you good night then.
Farewell.
May I have my stone back, please?
Oh, yes, of course.
I've already given up something to Mistra. I wouldn't want to lose something this important. And with that, that's that.
So, you guys, fully awake, and again, the day goes on as mentioned before. And the meeting time arises.
I'm assuming Esther and Fervis are waiting for everybody to
Do I
arrive.
have enough time to do the potion, or
Yeah, you actually would have had time to do one more trial and then get 1 hour into the next part.
okay, cool.
So go ahead and make your, again, same bonus, you have the dwarves helping you, and if you want to use Feign, go for it.
We'll use Feign, same bonus,
And guidance.
guidance. Okay. Okay, give me a second here. Sorry. So alchemy, yeah.
Oh,
Hey!
Well then.
Please
Let's
roll
see
the
that
guidance.
advance.
Please roll the guidance.
Ah,
Ah.
33.
33. Okay. So, you create a potion of glibness.
Can we get a
Seems very-
luck roll on that?
Yeah, I was going to say, give me the luck roll. Seems very interesting, this one. D20 or D100, your choice.
13.
Alright. 13. Okay.
Lucky number.
It seems interesting. Just mark that one with a little asterisk.
Okay. So we have a potion of glibness and a
Potion of glibness, asterisk.
During the 5 hours, can Esther try the wild surge again?
We already did it earlier. This is part of the.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But if you'd like to, go
to,
into
I'm
100.
gonna bring this to Rosalind personally.
Okay. Yeah, when she comes up to the meeting place, it's easy enough to do.
Oh, fuck.
85. All right. So what are you trying to do with this one?
Again, just seeing what happens.
Okay. Where
She's-
where are you focusing it?
Let's try the whole body.
You do so, and you kind of settle into a meditative pose. It seems you have better control when you do so. And as you focus and focus, trying to basically manipulate the body temperature and the magic that flows through it, eventually look up and you are basically like cloaked in flames. Seems that your clothes are untouched this time.
That is... I'm very thankful I'm running out of clothes. Can she extinguish herself?
That skill you learned pretty quickly.
Pardon me?
That skill you learned pretty quickly.
Good to know. Okay. Alright, fun. That was that. Just during the 5 hours, basically, she wanted to try again.
No worries. Okay. So, as you guys arrive at the meeting place, do you guys want to take a break, or do you want to just finish off the session?
Up to y'all.
Yeah.
How long are we gonna keep going? I'm good to keep going, but if anybody else needs, then
I imagine the actually going to the plane and everything is gonna not be this session.
Unless you guys speed through this quicker than I expect.
we can try.
Let's see how far we can get.
Sounds good. So, the meeting is called. Seems the island is basically all assembled except for a few people who are basically asleep.
Yeah.
Mostly kids. Entering into the courtyard is an experience for you all, as the entire population is in one courtyard and all the firebirds are lining the upper edges, with a bunch of people standing behind them, kind of just looking between their legs and like through past their feathers. The island is not super populated, but in a closed space like this, it feels like it is.
It's like we're giving ourselves practice for going to talk to Libra.
Yeah.
As you guys kind of begin to walk your way to the platform where the monarch has made a little space for you to speak, as you walk up, each of you are flanked by one pair of your own personal guards, the dwarves you have.
Cool.
Just make sure that you're protected properly on your way up. Seems Ashton's guards have kind of taken the pseudo role of watchers and personal guides of etiquette in terms of training you guys. Whereas Isa is currently making sure the exterior of the castle, where most of the guards have been called away from, protected. She basically trusts you guys to transfer anything important through Fane.
Alright.
But as they assemble in front of you, Rosalind, you feel the scepter begin to warm in your hand as it almost seems to be aware the kind of scenario it's in.
Oh, they would have brought her father up on their way up too, because
Ah,
he wanted
yes.
vacation time with them all. So
He probably would have chose to stay in the crowd for now, unless you guys call him forward.
no, just letting you know, reminding that he's there somewhere probably.
Did Rose have anything to say to him?
Casual talk. It seems they might have met once or twice before.
Alright, just curious.
But for the sake of speed, we're just gonna skip that whole
Yep.
elevator run up.
Rosalind's gonna look around at everybody else. Just Fane, are we ready?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Ashika
After you.
takes her hand and squeezes it for a second.
She'll squeeze back. And she'll start to speak. Let me see. She does not have. Out of curiosity, does anybody have thaumaturgy? Whether
No.
in
Yes!
genius- Ooh,
Oh!
I do!
could
That is a
you-
cleric only cantrip.
Exactly. Could you make her voice just a little bit louder? Technically, if Gareel has the standard tiefling spells, innate spells. He has thaumaturgy too, but I don't know what your build is for him. So,
Cleric.
but Zinnia is good. If Zinnia has thaumaturgy, then just enough to project Rosalind's voice out.
I'll keep the thaumaturgy concentration going for as long as possible because it's conk 1 minute, so I'll just keep refreshing it as.
All
You can
right.
easily enough find like pauses in when she speaks to recast it.
Yep.
Okay. Rosalind will thank everybody for coming to this meeting, and basically, in fairly simple terms, lay out why it is being held. That, of course, half the people here came up just a week before. That we wanted to find out how everybody was settling in, but there are many voices to be heard. And so to make it simpler, this is what we have in mind, if you think it would work for you. Just outline the basic concepts of the sort of representatives and council system going back and forth, and also the possibility of, in the near future, if we have the infrastructure for it, bringing more people in who would be skilled, who would add to the island greatly in terms of not just numbers but abilities. And just the focus on not only keeping the island safe, but also making room for it to be safe for more to come.
See at one point a section of the crowd that's simulating some sort of discussion. And a minute or two later, Simone steps out of it. Kind of like in the aisle you guys walked up through. And she has a loud speaking voice when needed. And basically says that her rangers and the people who are alongside of her have effectively completed the phase that they were going through first of setting out traps and doing research on what they have to fight in the town to take it. And they effectively have a battle plan. They just need skilled fighters. Specifically rangers if it can be done for the sake of preserving the wildlife there. They need people who are skilled at trapping, at flushing out the equivalent of pests. And those are their primary skills they need. A separate section. Similar, a dwarf steps out, one of Rosalind's, actually. Announces that the basic infrastructure inside the castle, the amenities are taken care of. Everyone has places to stay. We have room. The separate lodgings for families have been figured out, and they have empty space that they've been filling with the non-combatants that were exploring the town. And as such, they have basically room for about 100 people that could work in the castle as just auxiliary people in whatever skills that you deem necessary, as long as you can bring them on board. And finally, you hear just one dwarf, one of the kind of blacksmiths, and that's at the bottom of the castle where a lot of the skilled labor is actually occurring, is understaffed. They have a lot of masters, but not many workers. And they don't need to be masters, they just need people who are willing to work and be part of the crew to improve how quickly the infrastructure builds next, and how much island-specific stuff is created, as opposed to just basic infrastructure for living. Those are the main three groups that seem to be taking part in this discussion.
Alright. She'll ask if there are farmers or shepherds, those who see to the daily needs of the castle, if there is anything that they need.
Up on one of the balconies, someone basically like squeezed their head through two firebirds. Seems to be a half-elf of some kind. Basically saying that the crops here basically run themselves. The only real work is gathering and cattle. And the cattle are pleased just to roam, considering they have basically no natural predators here. It's mostly just making sure they get taken care of properly and that there's enough feed. But the Firebird crops are pretty much self-sufficient as long as food is gathered from them.
Mm-hmm. And there's no concerns for bringing on more people, or do they have any thoughts as to how far that sufficiency can stretch at the moment?
They say they could probably close to double, but not quite the population, and they'd be okay. And if the rangers augmented that with hunting, fishing, gathering in the forest, they could easily triple the population.
Okay.
So it seems the primary concern is hunter-gatherers, as well as less skilled labor. Less than masters of a craft, more people who are willing to just be extra hands. The type of stuff that dwarves tend to be a bit pretentious about becoming.
Okay. So basically, no dwarves. Not really that, but let's have some people who do not have that cultural baggage quite.
It's less of the culture baggage because actually a lot of the dwarven culture is about being a cog in the machine is the best thing to be.
Okay.
But a lot of the ones who volunteered to leave the Citadel are the entrepreneuring type.
Okay, makes sense. Well, potentially triple population safely with food and so forth. That would be, we're at 400. That would be about 1,200 people, if we can get the hunter-gatherers in.
I'd be hesitant on the full triple because that'd be
no.
to the full extent. But yeah,
You do get a feign from Carson, actually, both of you, actually all of you, saying that they haven't even considered trade routes and bringing in stuff. This is just what the island can produce.
Yep.
Damn.
If we can get some way to make the most basic of trade, there's no telling how many people we could bring in.
Feynback, we are working on that, but it'll be a consideration for the future.
step at a time, buddy.
Yep.
Thank
I
you.
can't yell it out. My voice doesn't reach far enough.
That's fine. I'm just saying we're not looking to quadruple us right now.
I mean, don't be against it. This is just these necessities. If you want people to start having luxuries, you need luxury craftsmen. And people who have luxuries are a lot more patient with the developing society. Bread and circuses.
Rosalind will
Well-
go back to speech mode and just say that they've been heard, and it will not be today or necessarily tomorrow, but soon we should be seeing new faces.
And there's a loud cheer at that. And the Firebirds all kind of send their, almost like a warm fuzz from each of their fane to you. And the Monarch, as you finish speaking, finally raises her head, and you hear the crowd quiet, and the Firebirds stop the wrestling. She speaks and says, "And I hope that each of you who learn to love this land like we do, remember to act as guests. We will never be a city like you are used to, but we can be a population that thrives, and hope us Firebirds and you all can continue to live together as we share this land." And there's a strange melody that arises from the thousands of Firebirds around here, almost seeming like it's in agreement. It's a very calming sound, actually. The Monarch nods to you, Rosalind, and continue.
Pretty sure that that's everything that out of character we were planning on saying.
Ash shall look over. Might I?
Was I forgetting something? Yeah, she'll gesture him forward and feign to ask Zinnia to please transfer the thaumaturgy, recast it on him.
Got it.
Okay, folks. If I'm hearing words, I fucked it up right away. I am terrible.
Immediately feign support to not
Yeah.
so much feed him words as concepts.
Yeah, no, that was player.
Time. Oh,
To go along with the excitement I just heard, we're gonna need to keep things ready for when the new faces get here. We're gonna need to organize, delegate, keep things a bit together. Have people who you know you can go to and get through the proper channels. I'll do everything I bloody can to make sure not too much red tape and bullshit gets in the way of you people telling us what needs to be done.
There's a flurry of kids' ears that are covered.
You said the kids were back home asleep.
I said a bunch of them were, but that's mostly dwarven kids.
Esther laughs.
As
Whatever.
His eyes land on one little tyke right in the front row.
Yep.
Big smile on his face, hands being covered by a disappointed mother.
Astra feigns a internal shrug. With that, something for each of you to think about for the next little bit. Who you think is best to not necessarily lead, but be one to come forward for a group. Like you just had right here. Simone for the Rangers. You and you, whose names Astra would know.
Yeah. One is one of Rosalind's soldiers, one's, they work with Fervis a lot. And the one up on the balcony is a newer half-elf, actually, who Rosalind you know as a well-known farmer from Anther in the past.
Like each of you did, letting us know what we need. Be it considering yourselves the one to maybe assess and understand and get to a point what needs to be said, or finding someone else among you who you think would fit the role well.
Distant Spain from Issa says, "Don't you forget about me."
That is all to say, everyone still keeps to the law keepers of here. The monarch and the iron fist
Oh god.
of strength that is Issa. Steel. Fist of steel. Diamond? I don't know. I'm losing this. Anyways.
You basically hear a collection of, not snaps, but the emotional equivalent of snaps of banging your shield and axes from your soldiers.
Ashtaverse is a metaphor.
you like have a name ready for us when the time comes. Maybe 2, maybe 3. But someone who's ready to be in talks and get that information back to everyone else. So we don't have to pull everyone into a big collection every other week.
There's a general murmur of agreement. And Simone steps up once more, and says, "That's fine and all. But what are we? What is the name of the land we reside on?"
Fuck you, Conrad.
Shit. Okay, quick conversation.
Just, we need Simone says, "You don't have to tell us now, but we need a sense of identity. Who are we? What are we? What is this new adventure?" And Simone just gives you this, grin of, "Yeah, fuck you too, Ashta."
Yeah.
We need something to call ourselves.
There's a return glance of, "We'll talk about this later, you sneaky little devil."
I've been looking for a name for this island for so fucking long, y'all.
Yeah, so have we.
We
So
can't name
way.
anything.
Can you spell kick in the ass?
Ikasia.
No. You guys have known, just kind of from the dwarves who've asked similar questions before, that there's a lot of talks about it being named after the Firebirds, for some, so like in some way.
Yeah, I'd like that. I wish I could figure out how. Don't do
Shit.
that to me.
Pretty good. Yeah, I could never say the name of the island.
Don't do that to me.
Cassia. Oh my. I mean, I don't mind it. That's the thing.
It's
I do.
Elven.
It's Elven.
We're not naming it. We're not naming it Kikasi.
Technically, that fits the dwarven naming scheme better, but anyways.
We're not naming our island Kikasia.
Hmm.
Alright,
There's
guys,
the white.
guys, just next time you call us, this will be the way to collect us. We need an identity. Especially if you're going to be tripling the population soon. Or doubling.
We'll work on branding for the future.
Don't be respected, it's important.
Okay, apprentice.
Yeah, fuck off. A number of hands cover ears again.
And he looks back at the group. Anything else?
That will be something that we consider and return with. Thank you. I believe that is all.
There's a general cheer, and as your eyes fall upon the Duke, he's got a proud glimmer to his eyes.
Aw.
He's actually the glimmer of necromancy. Oh no!
He's a glimmer. Wait, get him!
Glimmer of flowers.
The glimmer of fatherhood.
Glimmer of botany.
The glimmer of fatherhood. That's pretty good.
Why?
Patromancy.
Oh my god.
Would that make Esther the glimmer of matromancy?
Maybe.
Well, fuck.
I
Hell.
don't know.
If Xena keeps going with Sammy, we're gonna have the glimmer of matrimony, the enlightened of matrimony in a minute. So
Oh my god.
Alright,
more about
so
me.
we go ahead and wrap it up and let everybody go
Yep.
back to their lives. Hang around in case anybody has individual questions, just in case. But, yeah.
couple, but for the most part, it seems pretty much everyone here knows you guys at least by name at this point,
Mhm.
if not by the things you've done at least personally.
It's a small population. Still.
Yeah.
That's our council of dragon killers over there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Here's our council of god slayers. Go on. They're nice.
Yeah, it's like what do we call them? Like ministers? Nah. Dukes and duchesses? Nah. Dragociders? Yeah.
Oh no.
Speaking of, at the end of the speech, I forget her name, but the silver dragon.
Caraforn.
Thank you. Caraforn walks up to you guys and just nods and says, "Does a voice of the dragons count too?"
Of course.
Especially
You're
if
going
we're
to-
going to have more.
I hope so.
You're going to reside here most likely long after we're gone. Your voice is incredibly important.
And I'm assuming the monarch will act as speaker of the Firebirds. The monarch almost snorts at that, like, yeah, don't worry. Because as the only Firebird who can speak, she agrees to pretty quickly.
It's like, sure, we can get like a magic item for one of the other ones.
No, I think it's best that we leave the quibbling to them and the mouthpiece to me.
Sure, I hear Asgair has a great singing voice.
Well, he does. Unfortunately, he tends to sing only very, very violent sea shanties.
I haven't heard any of these.
No, I've asked him to not tell them to you, as for fear of what it would do to your mind.
Thank you.
Ashed, on the other hand, if you want to hear them, they're horrifying. It's lovely.
Is it the equivalent of your name but with pirates?
Well, and he shows you. And you basically hear, like, you know, like the army, I forgot what they're called, but the army,
Cadence?
marching songs.
Kansas,
Cadence.
yeah.
Thank you. You ever hear some of the real fucked up ones?
Yeah.
A lot of it is fire and burning things, and death to dragons.
Oh boy.
Well,
I love
Melt the flesh
Asgard.
from their marrow, melt the flesh from their marrow.
And if it live, we will stab them with an arrow. Yeah, something like that.
Oh boy. Alright. Look at everybody else. We have the rest of the day. And tomorrow, we have a trial to see to.
Christ, we have to do more of this.
Yeah.
A little bit
I
more, and then we can kill a dragon.
yeah, I
like-
finished another one of those glibness potions, Rosalind.
Really? You are...
Yeah.
You were quick, kid.
Yes.
This one's a bit different.
Different how?
I'm not sure, but
Different how?
if you
Better.
pull out yours, and you'll see that
Sorry, I've been listening to too much of Sam. Not Sam here.
Help the brother out
Sabriel.
here.
Ashton's other character. Thank you, Sabriel.
yeah.
Ashta's other
you
character.
motherfucker. What they're
Triangle.
probably like visual differences. Like it's probably a little more luminescent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm
What-
not an expert in potions, but does that mean more magic, more powerful, more...
What's the difference, Potion Man?
Potentially. Listen,
How'd you not
I got
know?
Very lucky with the. I got very lucky with the ingredients and how they were partitioned off and how they took to the actual potion base.
Esther, can you identify it?
She can try.
Yeah, I could. I've been meaning to give it a look at, but yeah.
Alright, she'll cast Identify.
As you do so, you basically get the standard glibness potion, but this one in particular, it basically gives you a physical manifestation that makes you more interesting to pay attention to, instead of just a standard convincingness kind of effect.
Is it an appealing manifestation, or is it something horrendous?
It's individual to each person. It's like if it was Esther, you might have your flames react differently. The heat around you will fluctuate as you get more inflection in your speech. For Rosalind, it might be a certain level of poise is attributed to her, and the roses on her have like a scent that makes people like inclined to see what's causing it. Various things for each person.
Interesting. She'll just relay that.
Cool hat.
Yeah, basically.
Cool hat.
So, Potion of Glibness plus Makeover.
It's basically glibness plus prestidigitation.
Glibness plus look at me.
Digitation.
Aren't I something?
Glibdigitation, I think, is the only way to make that word harder to say.
Tation.
The rest is worse than
Glibtation.
glib.
Wait, is it gonna make you more pretty? I can't take that. I'm gonna have to pay attention in the thing.
Oh, that's adorable.
That's normal.
He looks at it like everyone, what? It's a tactical concern.
Uh-huh.
You hear from one of your dwarves. Respectfully, sir. Gross.
That's that, Ashta. Come on.
Guys.
You can't just have the running joke go back in time, Conrad.
No, this started here. This started with Ashta. Oh, sorry,
It
with
did.
John mentioning make comment with Ashta.
Yeah, Greg started here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did it?
nice try.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
get out
I
of that
started
bit.
saying it.
Okay, I thought it was the right thing. Oh.
Just
No.
I
It was actually a very similar situation where you said a cute thing about Rosalind, and Fervis just went, gross.
Gross.
I got it from Fervis. That's why Ray does it.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, this is a Fervis thing.
And,
Well-
Yeah.
And Zinnia's gonna look at everyone, sorry. And they just go, so, also, in terms of some more important, important stuff, I've been running some numbers,
Okay.
and
Yep.
there's...
At that point, Sammy like pops out from behind her and like, yeah, so bye.
Hi,
Fuck.
Sammy.
Hi!
That's Sammy,
Hey.
to people who don't know her. She's the heir to
Financial advisor.
financial advisor. Sammy can help consult for a couple weeks on the island. 50 gold per day. If everyone's interested, I've run the numbers. So he's gonna like faint everyone, and it's gonna be 700 gold, but we have the money.
Who's this we?
The party. It's 700 gold.
we're putting it in together with this.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it's financial consulting.
Mhm.
It's to be able to get our numbers together and project population and project how much money will be circulating in the inner economy.
I
You get-
believe you.
You get a whisper. Here's the thing, Banashta. You get a whisper from Rayo that says, "Also, this takes the monopoly on the finances away from Carson."
Fuck.
You can get a new financial minister.
Was
I can't
Carson
do that.
going over
Really?
our
Carson,
money?
Carson was the only trading person on this island so far.
Carson
Oh my
was
God,
our
no, give her
numbers
the money.
guy?
Give her the money.
Rayla, you have no idea how strong of an argument you've just made. Hey, welcome aboard.
Congratulations, Sammy.
She goes, "Sweet. Okay, so
I'm gonna fan over Zinnia.
We are going to
We
need
can't
to...
have seriously had just Carson as our numbers guy this whole time, right?
the only person,
Okay,
technically the only person managing him was the fear of God that he puts into him."
Oh my God, I'm so glad that we changed this. Fuck.
I mean, quite an effective manager. But
Absolutely, but it's nice to have more than one perspective.
Yeah.
Oh,
We will have
God.
to introduce you to Carson then.
it's good we cut it off now before he gets full use of his limbs and starts getting confidence
Yeah.
Yes.
Our numbers. He's not,
that he can outrun Issa.
He can run our numbers, but he can't run away. That's the important part.
Oh, okay. So we have someone to introduce you to.
yeah.
That
Hold
will-
on when you see him, though.
She just kind of smiles and says,
Kosher.
"No, that's okay. Can I steal a couple of the dwarves away from you? They are really diligent, and I'm gonna need people to help me with the numbers because I can do it all
Well,
myself."
you're here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It'll be much
Okay.
more efficient if I have people help me out.
Sure.
Yeah,
would
we
you-
have a general meeting place for where the dwarves go. I can show you because I hang out there often just to make potions with them.
Oh,
Perfect.
and afterwards.
Ash'll feign over to Carson real quick. It's like, hey, buddy, you still around? Imagine you didn't get far.
I'm coming down the stairs. Just take me a second.
Sure thing.
And Sammy, if you'd like, afterwards, Zinnia, there are still some spare rooms in the central tower. If you'd like, you can show Sammy a room, perhaps give her a base of operations.
of course, I just need to put some pillows in there. I think they're a bit lacking in that.
Ah,
Oh,
What happened
okay.
to all the pillows?
don't ask. Anyways,
Okay, I'll come with you. I'll meet this Carson, and he can come with you. And while you do that, said he walks slow.
A little bit.
yes.
Okay.
He's recovering.
Yes, I'm like, don't puke when you see him.
There's a
Damn.
to the back of Fervis's head.
He's the kind man.
Purpose!
He's a
Ignore
very
him.
funny man. Don't listen to half the things Carson says.
He's
Yeah.
odd. Look, just go with odd. It's odd is a good summation.
You know what? Let's just
You guys see her starting to
stop.
become a bit overwhelmed with all this.
Let's just stop.
You're good.
It is not nearly as bad or as chaotic or as overwhelming as everybody's various comments might lead you to believe.
I promise you, it won't be as bad as when we first met.
As their mouths.
As you say
keep
that, you guys
lying.
hear a thump, 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 as Carson falls out of the staircase.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Carson!
He just looks up
You
like, I tried to speed up.
You're
You
very
fucking
good at
idiot.
making good impressions. Good
Zinnia,
man.
do you mind with the healing?
Yep,
please?
Zinnia's checking him out.
Yep,
Seeing-
he just fell over. He's fine.
Yep, they'll just help him up and pat
He
him.
appreciates the hand. He kind of, you see, he's walking better than every day you see him. He's walking just a little bit better.
Yeah, I spray him in the face with a healing potion.
All right. You kind of- All right. Thank you.
I just like you hold a Febreze thing to his face
Yeah,
for a few seconds.
basically.
He kind of puts out a hand to Sammy, and he's like significantly taller than her, honestly. He like reaches out a hand and say, "I'm Carson. I'm supposed to meet you." And she nods and says, "I'm Sammy, the financial advisor." And Ashta, you just hear a fucking traitor in your face. I've been busting my ass,
And now you
Literally.
want help.
but she's the financial advisor.
You're going to work
She
in
thinks she
tandem.
is. Yep. Also, it's just, and she thinks she is. This is where you can make your position known.
I get she has the benefit of both halves of a brain, but come on.
Oh, honey. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's so
Left
bad.
brain.
But buddy, you didn't have that before we met.
Exactly. Thought my nepotism would carry me further, man. Come on.
No.
Well, Carson, you two can
Tell you
work
what, player and
together.
cards for position. Fuck you.
Some numbers.
This whole time, by the way, he's having a perfectly pleasant conversation with her.
Carson here
slightly-
is our current treasurer.
Financial analyst and head trader, but yes. It'll be
And
nice
what a
to get the
treasure he
perspective of
is.
someone a bit more experienced in large-scale business, though. So, nice to meet you. And his demeanor, by the way, has totally changed, Ashta. You've seen him like put on this like before when he's like usually when he's going to flirt before.
Mhm.
But with this, it seems more like he's just to be professional.
Yep. There's a quick fade over. It's like also Zinnia called dibs.
Thank you. She's a little too young for my taste, Ashta.
Well, Zinnia, would you like to show Sammy around?
Of course, I'll give you the grand tour.
Just tell me where the final meeting place is. I'll catch up afterwards.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, Carson, just to be clear.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wondered.
Zine will just go, I'll let you know.
In the meantime, I'm going to go get the materials we're going to need and apparently recruit a couple dwarves.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question, Carson.
Yeah?
What did Thornarella do to you?
He just sighs. Traumatized me.
Oh, God.
No, like, in particular.
Mostly drew on my face and messed with my hair and messed with my overall appearance. And I woke up with 2 pieces of mistletoe sticking out of my nose.
Oh, my God.
Alright, everyone was wondering.
Nothing terrible, just pranks. And Sammy just looks back and forth like, sorry, who's Thorn? Who's Rayla? Should I know them?
Thorn is this one, and just little perk up of a pseudo dragon on Rosalind's shoulder.
He perks up and goes, hi there, and she jolts.
Yeah, he.
That's,
If,
He
if
does
you think
that.
that's scary, wait until you meet Pyrrhus.
Come now, don't scare her off like that.
I am so sorry about all of them.
she gets nudged from behind, and you guys like watch her turn and like jolt as Caraforn is like standing next to her. She goes, and I'm Caraforn, by the way. She's just like, oh, you guys have a lot of dragons here.
Caraforn, where's Pyrrhus?
I think he said something about helping out the mining operations, which is his way to say he's eating a bunch of rocks.
Of course he did. I swear.
It's rocks, not
Hang
metal.
on,
It's rocks, not. It's healthy. It's like fruit.
All right, I suppose.
Mm.
Tell him I
Not
need
metal.
to speak with him later.
Asha thinks to that like ancient Greek dude on a chair eating grapes. It's like it's fruit.
Yeah, basically. Basically, you're not wrong.
Oh my god, that is Paris. He's
That's a really good image, by the way. Thank you.
Fuck.
Red pebbles.
And you see actually Caraforn turn to one of the firebirds, not the monarch, and hums something in the back of her throat to a little tune. And the firebird flies off and downstairs.
Are you learning Firebird?
Yes, actually. It seems to be a modern dialect of Old Draconic, actually. I was lucky enough to learn it from an older dragon when I was young. And so
Oh
I
damn!
could translate it to Firebird. Kind of. It's kind of like translating Auron and Aquan, from what I hear.
And
That's fascinating.
it's a heck of a thing.
At some point, when I have more time, I would love to learn, even just to understand it.
Can you play an instrument? At all?
I can sing.
If you can sing, it'll actually be very easy for you. It's, at least the parts that I can do, the simple parts. It's mostly melodious as opposed to what you say.
What about a pan flute?
That would probably work. They've got nice woodwinds, and the tonal differences are pretty easy to tell.
Wonderful. All right.
Excellent. Alright, I had better find a place for my father to stay. We did not make that arrangement before coming up here. Also,
Oh, I think Ace is taking care of it.
oh good. Esther, would you be able to spare a couple of hours, perhaps? Maybe a little bit longer this afternoon? Zinnia as well, well, they may be busy.
I'll have time.
I need to finish
of
enchanting
course.
something.
I'll make a deal with you. I will aid you in enchanting if Ashta and I can train afterward.
Absolutely.
Sammy kind of puts up a hand and just like, I have a question, by the way.
Hmm?
You guys are all talking like you're about to leave?
We
Oh.
We have a bit of a
have matters to attend to.
matter for a
world.
day.
Oh, okay. So while you're gone, who should I consider in charge?
Isa.
Isa.
We'll introduce you after you have. Actually, we'll send her.
Oh,
your
you need to be
way.
interrogated.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's
sorry.
right.
Oh, for
Scare
heaven's
Sorry in
sake.
advance.
She's fine.
If I can't find her, should I talk to her? And she points to Monarch.
Yes,
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
all-
knows most.
In all honesty, you go ahead with Zinnia. Carson will catch up, and I will send Issa your way soon after.
Perfect. Let's go, Zinnia. She got like,
Alright.
a smile on her face.
Zinnia like offers their arm.
Yep, she kind of takes it with like a little bit of hesitance. She's seemingly not a super physical person.
Okay, if she's uncomfortable, then they will.
Not uncomfortable. She just like it's not her like anything. So she kind of like goes to, like loop arms and then decides just to hang off with like her hand instead.
Aw, she's
The
awkward.
equivalent of like the high five fist bump thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's like a slight like feign eep to Rosalind from Zinnia.
By the way, Ariel, freshly peeled pebbles is the worst thing. Thank you.
What the fuck?
Oh.
I hate that so much.
I was gonna say like freshly broken geodes, but
Well,
God,
peeled
that's
pebbles
even
is his new
worse.
delicacy. Alright, so
Um,
shall we do the enchanting checks?
Yeah. So, what do you guys do with this last day preparation? And are you leaving in the morning, or are you leaving time to
figured-
spare?
I'm working on another glibness potion.
I figured in the morning.
Okay. Yep, just checking.
Yep.
So, in that case, it's 3 o'clock, so you guys would have roughly, counting for downtime of like eating and shit, roughly 6 hours to do with it as you wish.
Okay.
Potion.
How
So,
long would it
Fervis.
take to...
So yeah, I'm just gonna go down the line.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So Fergus, you have 3 hours left on the last glibness potion you can attempt,
Yep.
and then you have 3 hours left to do with what you want. But if you'd like to make your check, again, mark off aim point, take the dwarves' help, take guidance.
Yeah, will do. So
Isn't it nice to have infrastructure that helps you guys?
yes, alchemy
24. Okay, give me
Four.
the guidance.
are 1d4. 25.
5. Okay. You make a final standard glibness potion.
And I will hand it off to Rosalind.
Okay.
Oh,
That's-
by the way, Ariel,
Yeah.
a thing that I totally forgot for a while, and it finally makes sense balance-wise.
Mhm.
Every rarity you see in the books is one higher than it is in the setting because magic is so common. That's why the numbers have been off for me. So all the rarities are one less than they are in the book
Oh.
for enchanted items.
Oh.
That's why it feels longer than it should. I forgot that I've been doing that in the background. I never wrote that in the enchanting sheet.
Okay, so it should be just slightly easier, or
Yeah, all the gold costs are a lot less for
Okay.
the stuff you're disenchanting. I totally forgot about that.
all right. We might need to rediscuss the disenchanting
Yeah,
of the wand
Give me which
later.
numbers you need me to readjust, and I'll do
Just-
so.
Just
I completely forgot about that.
that one can wait until later. She's not. Well, she might do a little bit of disenchanting on it herself, but right now I just need 2 hours, and Esther's gonna help with that for the health necklace. But I'll wait until
Yep.
Fervis is. I don't know if he's done.
Yeah,
So-
Fervis finishes up on his potion.
Okay.
Is
So now I ask you,
Rosalind
who is
carrying
getting
all
each of the glibness
them?
potions? Yeah.
You just handed them all to Rosalind, so
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and have
I
the
assume-
special one on Rosalind.
Yeah, I assume you're going to be doing most of the talking.
Um,
I'm just going to hand them off to you.
so that being done,
Distribute them as you deem fit.
should I have one? I'm only worried that they're going to grill me more than anyone about wanting to end.
Yeah, that's
All
a
of
fair
the
point.
Zodiac.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
that-
I'll probably hand you one.
Mm-hmm. For the last one, I am honestly torn between Esther or Zinnia.
That's
Who is going to be likelier player or character or whatever to want to speak during this?
Esther genuinely would.
I would say Esther just because of the Genasi stuff and that. Me as
I was going to say that with the whole and also old Leo thing.
Yeah.
me as a player also may be a little bit off in doing that sort of conversation.
Okay.
And also keep in
Yeah.
mind, Xena, you can always act instead of making the check, giving help to someone.
Yeah, exactly, and I have guidance
Yeah.
if they allow it, if they'll allow that.
Okay.
And Esther, even if you don't use it for this one, that one can last you until, like, say, the meeting of the 5.
Yeah.
It's true. These potions are permanent.
Yeah.
So,
These person-
So it's a potion of glibness?
yep,
Yeah.
8th level spell, it gives you any charisma check you make for the hour it's in effect. The base roll is 15 unless you roll higher.
Interesting, okay.
It's a really good fail-safe potion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good to know.
Well, I probably intend on making more of it if we're going to do more of these diplomacy missions. Just tell
Oh,
me.
yeah.
And I will say also, Esther, it will also apply to the basically swapping of the stat being used that we mentioned.
Oh, okay.
So, if you want to keep it for that, I would say it. But also, you're going to be talking to Libra. It's also a very reasonable choice to use it then.
Oh, I
So
was
that
going
is
to use it
your
then.
choice.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's your choice where you'd like to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'll actually broach it. Like, I'll be like, "Hey, Esther, would you want one of these for the meeting of the 5 then as well?"
I would very much appreciate it, honestly.
I'll put it on the list. And he has like
A
the
grocery
rest of
list.
the-
You have a grocery list, basically.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize that I might be the one doing most of the talking then. That thought is very frightening.
There's a
You're here to
reassuring
support
pat from
him.
Gareel.
Uh-huh.
You'll have
You got
us
this.
behind you.
And I'll
After
shoot
all-
anything that tries to interrupt it.
Aha! About that, we're going to have a talk later about shooting certain things. Huh.
And Gareel kind of speaks up too, says, and also, if this island is going to have any kind of diplomat to the Genasi, I imagine it'd be you.
Precisely.
I didn't consider that.
Just a
Esther
thought for the
just kinda-
future.
She's going to look to Rosalind. You need to teach me.
I'm
And
probably
when
going to
you
have
get-
to start holding lessons, aren't I?
I need to learn
Probably.
how to be diplomatic in your culture.
Well, alright, let's see how much I can talk you through the basics while we enchant this just a little bit.
So yeah, anyone who does want to begin making that a training thing, they can. So
Like
Diplomat.
these diplomatic ghosts.
basically,
Uh,
May ask the Duke or Rosalind in their spare times with the Duke if he wants to help with that.
I mean, I will say, Esther, or Xena, or anyone, if you go up to the Duke and go, so tell me how diplomacy works in your culture, he's going to be so happy.
okay, good to know.
Rosalind would
Um,
know this and tell them that, so you know this.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
So dude, tell me how. How does it?
Basically.
with the hour, like, say with the experience that Esther has in terms of diplomacy with her tribe, due to the fact with her, the council,
So
would it be less? Oh, sorry. Would it be less hours for Esther to gain proficiency in that due to her
So-
own experience of diplomacies?
Yeah, you were basically considered already proficient, which I usually just do as lower DCs.
I didn't know
Um,
that.
No, it's one of those things where anything you guys are good at or have historical experience with, I just lower the DCs for you. That's why I make multiple people make the same check, because the DCs are based on each of your levels of experience.
Good to know.
That's why you guys have seen Ash pass checks of like DC 8.
Again, talk about this later, but this is kind of what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Got it.
No, I know. It's come up in session, so I'm just mentioning it.
No, anyway.
Regardless.
Okay.
But for the sake of this, though, Fervis, you have 3 hours otherwise to do as you wish. You no longer have ingredients for a glibness potion.
Yes.
So if you'd like, you can begin working on the catnap potions.
Yes, I will begin working on that massive work order.
So for the sake of this, basically, from that 15,000 you got earlier, just mark off 8,000, and we'll assume that you have all the ingredients ready.
Okay, So I have.
Basically, in total, it's going to take you 16 times. Yeah, so 16 sets of 4 hours. So 64 hours. To make all these potions because you're making in bulk.
Yeah.
The DC for these are 15.
Gold left.
So the DCs for those are only 15. It's much easier.
So, do I just make one alchemy check?
Basically, once you've every 4 hours worth, you make a check. But what's your alchemy like? What's your passive alchemy?
Passive alchemy? I have a plus 12 to alchemy.
So your passive alchemy is 22.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to assume that you just basically have to spend the time doing it.
Yeah. Just put in the time.
Yeah. Basically, anytime you would have assistance of dwarves, you can use passive alchemy. Because they can basically mitigate your natural 1 rules.
Yeah.
So, you can put 3 hours to that. Just mark off 3 out of 16 hours.
3 out of 16. 3 out of 16.
By the way, welcome to the amount of money you can make as a skilled laborer in this world.
Wait. Did you say 16 hours?
Sorry, 64 hours. My mistake.
64. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Sorry, got that backwards. Because it's 16 sets of 4 potions, what you're doing, technically. But it's 4 hours per potion. Or per set, so it goes back to 64.
Yeah.
But, so, that's how you spend the time before your long rest. The dwarves are happy to be doing a much easier kind of alchemy at this point, where it's almost rote. And they can just take the chance to perfect the potions. Esther.
Ye.
Rosalind needs to borrow you for 2 hours, I think?
Yeah, 2 hours.
So otherwise you would have... What did I say?
4 hours.
You said
4 hours,
6
thank you.
total, so yeah.
Okay, that gets first. Yeah. No, first is good. So yeah, you'd have 4 hours to do as you wish.
She's going to ask Asta to train.
Okay. For the elemental stuff?
Yeah, the planar training.
Yep. Yeah, Fervis, you're good. Sorry, I almost backtracked on
3 out
that,
of
but you're
4,
good.
3 out of 54, 4 out of 64. Sorry.
3 out of 64. It's how many hours, not potions.
It depends on how many hours Ashta wants to it.
Yeah. So actually, you're being asked to basically help with the elemental training. This could also function as your elemental training.
Okay.
Basically, you would both get 1.5 for the sake of this, because neither of you are technically experts at it, but you're both kind of helping each other in scenarios. So.
And we're both a bit natural.
Yeah, so I'm calling it 1.5.
All
Okay.
right.
So
Yeah. I had a thought actually,
And that
and
would
honestly, having you along might help. Do you want to go talk to Aquarius about it?
be...
Aquarius
yeah.
is the overwatcher of a plane of the elements.
Sure.
Maybe maybe she can't do it exactly, but I mean, druids are kind of in that alley, I think,
I mean,
and she might even be able to at least point us in a direction.
that's not a bad idea. Let's go, and Asta kind of pot ground by Roz. Watch over it.
Gorilla, as usual, takes kind of standard watch on it, like he always does. But as you go in, actually, you see Junior and Aquarius, like, hunched over a desk, doing something together. Like, writing.
Hello.
Oh, perfect, you're here. Come here.
Coming.
I'm here too.
Yes, you too. Come here.
What's up?
And you see Junior is drawing, actually, sketching. And he hands you this, penciled out, like, huge map. And she goes, "This, to the best of my recollection, is the realm of Aqua."
Huh.
You drew this for us?
Yeah, Junior is actually an artist. A cartographer of some kind. That's why we brought him in. He would just fly above places we wanted to make contact with and map out what we need and how routes would work out.
Esther's gonna take that map.
Yeah, it's incredibly detailed, and there's a separate drawing of the gate that you guys would be teleporting to. This should help whoever's teleporting you get there more accurately.
That's wonderful. Zinnia will definitely use this.
Perfect.
Here, hand for a second. And he'll just like look at it and just feign snapshot.
Yeah.
So, you get this like uploaded to you. Basically, you have, instead of the herd of it for the teleportation, you would have familiar.
Oh.
So that much lowers the risk of failure.
May I, if possible, hold on to the copy?
Say again?
May I hold on to the physical copy?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you guys do as you need to. Just, we thought it'd be helpful, and
Very
you
much
guys got the
so.
skill for it. Yeah. Tell me how it goes, by the way. I'm curious how everyone's doing.
We've very much well. We've been guaranteed our own personal immunity, and we're going to try to help Cancer as much as we can.
Well, of course, you are technically there as guests. Nothing will be done to you until you either leave or revoke your right to it by choice.
Fair enough. We wanted to ask you something, and Esther's going to kind of look towards Ashta. Like, do you want to say it, or?
He shrugs and is like, I guess I'm more related to you, but it's, I don't know, we'll see. So I've been kind of stockpiling power every time I head to a different plane, and I just end up just
Okay.
all 3 water.
Oh, are you one of the planeswalkers? Technically,
Technically, yeah.
I was wondering what your type of magic was. That makes sense.
So on that, you're a watcher and a guardian in that of your plane,
Essentially, yes.
of your little area of the plane at least.
Yes, technically, I'm from the air side, but ice is in between.
I've been getting a lot of ice, so.
Perfect.
Do you draw power from it?
Yes, when I'm there, I am more powerful. That's one of the main reasons you guys are actually able to capture me. I am fueled by the planar energy. I technically have a slight level of control over the land itself. I don't use it very often, it's not particularly useful, but the winds are mine to control sometimes. Same thing happens in the realm of Aqua.
Nuts.
Actually, I'd ask you guys to be aware of that. When you get there, you won't be able to transverse by yourself, most likely. The only way to get between pieces of land for most humanoids is to be guided by one of the guides, which you will be provided, but know that traveling on your own will be very difficult if you don't know the winds.
That's good to know.
It's useful. If I was able to go with you, I could do it instead, but you'll have to rely on the guides.
We
So I guess on that front too, I mean, Esther, do you want to update on what you've just done?
Sure. So,
Sit down for this one because you're going to stand up afterwards.
yeah, I spoke to the elemental trafficker, and turns out it's Phoenix, as we previously knew, but, I offered to help him. Genuinely, I wanted nothing in return, but, turns out that was... I'm Phoenixkin now,
Esther just
apparently.
turns Esther around and pulls back the back of the shirt to show the brand.
First, just kind of sighs and just can you guys go 1 week without some kind of weird power-up?
Fervis has been asking himself that for the last 7 days.
Yeah, really.
We can't go
I
a
mean-
day.
It's been a wild ride for Fervis so far.
Poor Fervis, man. Well... And now I can kind of do some interesting things, I suppose. A bit more access to magic in terms of fire. And Ashta and I can how both recently become attuned to a plane or 3. In Ashta's case, we wanted to know if you could help us learn how to draw magic off of.
I couldn't do it here. I would need a space out there, but if that's okay, I can do it. If it works anything like mine, proximity to your source of power is what gives it. I imagine as you get further from the egg, Esther, it'll get harder to control, and Ashta, the longer you go without going to those other planes, power won't be there for you. The longer you spend there, the more power you'll absorb.
What do you mean harder to control?
You won't have the, think of it like a spear. As the spear gets longer and longer, trying to control the point gets more difficult.
I don't
Okay.
think you're about to burst everything into flames, though.
That's my worry.
Unless
Probably
you
not.
try to, and then you don't do it too well.
If I had to guess, it'd be weakest on the plane of water.
Good to know.
Makes sense.
I'm very lucky that my magic isn't mainly drawn off of that then.
I'm curious if we went to the plane of fire, what'll happen actually?
Well, considering that, I do need to speak to Leo. Eventually, at some point.
Any advice on Leo, by the way?
She kind of grins and goes, "Oh, I guess Cancer didn't tell you.
What do you mean?
Leo's her other witness."
Ha!
Huh.
Well then. Shit.
So, that'll be interesting.
That's very good to know. That means.
But as I
basically-
mentioned, you have immunity from danger while you're on the realm of Aqua. So if you want to discuss anywhere,
I need to speak with him.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Esther, an idea. And just feigns over. The thing of the Fey gem he has from that wand that Rosalind has that turns a portal into a little gem.
Yeah.
It's still a portal to that plane.
Okay.
She's saying us not being there, not being as close to it would make it more difficult. If we had one of those,
Then we could be as close as we wanted.
nuts.
Esther is giving you a grin. It is a grin of chaos. You have seen it before. She has done something like absolutely destructive. I like that idea.
Well, we might have a solution for a certain thing. I don't know if pulling you out right this instance would be the best thing, considering the climate going on and what we're about to go to.
We'll train on our own for now. And
Do you have any pointers, like a basic exercise or something you could explain to us?
is this out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, he's talking about prayers.
He says, well, how do you usually summon your planeswalking magic?
Um,
I know you've used your wings before. Do you have any other ways?
I'm pretty sure I've hit you with it once, and he'll just kind of turn his hand and do the planar warrior.
Well, that's your access to your planes magic. I wouldn't be surprised if that acts almost as your focus.
Oh no,
Or-
I've been able to turn it to ice for a while now.
Maybe that. And as a note, Asher, you've basically used Planar Warrior as a generalized connection to different planes before. You wouldn't be surprised at all if it's just basically a master key to draw a little bit of planar energy.
Oh! I have a fuck it. Oh, what if we get a gem from everywhere? Ash has an extra attunement slot.
Welcome to how legendary artifacts are created.
You mean you got Rosalind who's
I'll make my own goddamn wheel.
Yeah.
Right, at that point, you make like a dope-ass circlet, right?
Hmm.
Or the
Yeah,
Thanos
this is how artifacts are created historically. This is why I waited until the end of the campaign to write the culture all the way through the campaign.
That's fair. So we should be going. We'll train and see how best we can do, and we will
We'll
keep you in the
update
loop.
you on how it goes, and
Again, if you can bring me outside, I
Assuming-
can help you guys train.
Yeah.
Once everything with Libra is dealt with, then we'll be more than happy to.
Sure, take your time. I've got Junior now, so I'm not as much of a rush.
everything going good here? Either of you need anything?
So nice to talk to someone who can talk in more than just clicks and beak wiggles.
Speaking of which, where's that little rascal?
You see, he's like basically passed out on top of Junior's makeshift futon.
And looks over, is like, could I pet him? Her? Him, her?
They're asleep right now, but I'm gonna wake them up.
I'll just, like, do the very lightly pat.
You get like a noise that's like halfway between a hoot and a growl in its sleep.
Well,
But guys can use that training time as you wish.
Alright.
So 4
So,
hours times
yeah, if you guys
1.5.
choose to do so together, it'd be 6 hours total, basically. With
Are
multiple.
you okay with that, Asha?
Yep. Well, you have that 2 hours, right? So
Yeah, that's why it's 6 total.
Okay,
Four,
okay.
4 times 1.5.
that's fine by me.
Alright, Rosalind, you spend the first 2 hours enchanting, right?
Yeah.
So you're just enchanting what?
I am enchanting Ashta's health pendant.
Okay.
So,
Alright, and you have help and guidance.
yep.
Alright.
Single advantage, or was it double from something else? I don't remember.
I think it
done
was
so
single
many.
with guidance.
Yep.
It was single with guidance. You can get help if Zinnia chooses to help.
Nah, Zinnia's good. Alright.
Okay. What was it? DC 30 for like full success, 25 for with complication.
Something like that.
Okay. Go for it.
Assuming that the DC shouldn't have been lower or anything because of the...
No, that's purely for the
Okay.
disenchanting.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm getting a D4 in a second. That's a 4. I'm
Alright.
getting the enchanting. 29.
29. Okay.
Roll 2 10s.
Okay. So, I mean, it's a 55% chance of complication. Let me just get the handout. So give me the D20 roll.
Damn it.
It's okay.
Well,
Remember, it
at
still
least
succeeds.
At least he's got the earring, so I don't have to give them to him right away. 11.
11. Alright. Minor drawback appropriate to its enchantment. Okay.
Same as Rosalind.
Yep. I think yours was a major drawback, no?
I don't remember.
I think yours was a vulnerability. Yeah, it was a major drawback.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a less serious one. Okay.
Suggestion?
Sure.
Reduces your constitution after you undo it
It's
for
not
like a number of
attunement.
days.
It's not.
Actually, I was
attunement.
thinking. Yeah, it's not tuning. That's one thing.
Well, equip it. Sorry then.
I was gonna actually do basically when recovering hit dice, you have to add your normal Constitution modifier.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, it's a minor drawback. It's meant to be like a very low one, especially because she was only 1 below the DC.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically whenever you roll hit dice to heal, instead of doing the Constitution modifier of the necklace, you do it of yours instead. Sound good? Oh, shit, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
You're-
Okay, good. Sorry, I didn't get a response there.
Yeah.
Alright. You're making very difficult items, Rosalind, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'll just mark off some more of the dragon scales.
Yep, I'll go do that.
Also, remember, a lot of our healing is through magic.
Yeah, it is really not that bad.
No.
To be fair, we could put the necklace on someone else that doesn't have as much health, so it's not as much of a big deal.
Everybody's got the health right now because Ashta borrowed the duplicate earring from Esther. I just very much wanted... These are personalized items, so...
Yeah.
This is specifically Ashta's. It's not a put it on someone else.
So, does everyone have their health thing now?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, and technically, if I'm gonna give this pendant to Ashta, and Esther could get the second earring, which you said would be a bigger bonus.
Yeah.
For wearing both. So.
Which I believe basically is what turns it to 20 Constitution as opposed to 19. If I recall correctly.
What?
No, she's
No.
already at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 20 as well.
This thing
What
is
was
so
the sec-
difficult because you made it 20. I think that you gave it a further boost. But I can't remember what.
Either. I'll have to check that recording.
Mm-hmm.
If I can remember which recording it was, my god.
Um.
We will find that after session, don't worry.
Mhm.
Yep.
We got a list for after session, my god. So, that takes 2 hours of your time. You have 4 more remaining, Rosalind.
I'll just kind of pour them into disenchanting that wand slowly.
possibly less slow soon.
We'll find out.
Yep. Ashta, so you would have had 2 hours beforehand to spend.
Yep. He wants to, if they're not busy, go find Pyrrhus and
Careful.
Terraform.
yes, Caraway Seed.
What?
Caraway. I just think Caraway Seed every time you say Caraforn.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll go find Pyrrhus and Caraforn if he can.
He was basically being informed of the whole situation with the speech, what's going on, and basically getting a mild lecture in dragon etiquette.
And he might go find. He's like, "Hey, Pyrrhus, I hear you're munching on rocks."
He turns around with a mouthful of gravel.
Hmm.
Maybe. It's healthy.
Yeah. But you know what goes good with healthy food?
Unhealthy food?
Exercise.
Sounds like a trick.
We're going for a fly. Come on.
Oh, okay. He kind of like flaps his way over to you and Caraforn and says, "May I join?"
I intended to.
Perfect.
Hopefully
actually,
you guys can.
You walk out of the caverns flanked by a gold and silver dragon, as if these people didn't need more of a reason to be mildly afraid of you.
Who are we?
Sup, losers? Not.
I like to imagine you passed by Sammy at one point, and she's just like, "Yeah, I was right to be afraid of you."
So could he do just a little 2 hours of wing training?
Yeah, sure thing.
Would he
Sure.
get a bonus from having the dragons with him?
You can't get a double bonus, but you get the doubled bonus.
Perfect. Oh, 20 hours more.
Which means you can also do it in your sleep now, I believe, right?
Oh, I'm at 180, my dude.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. Alright. So, that is your time, and next up is Zinnia. So, first, Zinnia, you show Sammy to her room.
Get some pills for
Yep, she takes it happily and kind of has a desk set up with the dwarves and Carson kind of sitting next to her. She seems to pick two of Rosalind's dwarves, basically in their off time. It seems they're just best at sums at the moment.
Okay, that's good.
You gotta be able to do math in order to figure out the trajectory of whatever thing you're building to fling. Who knows
Yeah, and the
what
blast
weapon.
radius.
Goals, physics.
How much foam is too much foam?
Yeah. It's a lot of just like back of the napkin math of like, I hope this works out, and then trial and error.
Uh-huh.
There's an entire like textbook that's like the size of a napkin because that's just how they wrote everything.
So you're just gonna stay in the room.
Sorry, you're going to.
In the room, sort of just learn how to do some of the math stuff. Maybe like ask Sammy if she can give Zinnia any lessons on like etiquette and that slight diplomacy thing of just having composure, because the diviner scares the shit out of them.
Fair enough. You do so and they say, yeah, it'll be kind of hard to split my attention both ways though, but after I'm done this, I can come by your room and we can do it.
Oh my god.
She says with a totally straight face.
Zinnia looks to Carson.
Carson just looks at you like jaw open, like, And then she's like, I was like, what? Oh my god, yeah, I'm not always the best about diplomacy.
Don't worry. Don't worry. If you don't want to talk about diplomacy, that's fine. We can also talk. I'm gonna warn you in advance. It's a pillow fort, but
That sounds fantastic. Or that's fantastic. Yeah, diplomacy is not my strong suit. Negotiating is fine. Diplomacy less so.
that's okay. Then we can just hang out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll make snacks. I can cook.
Snack sounds good.
Yep.
By the way,
Mm-hmm.
that really scary chef.
The one in
Oh,
Anthem.
Yeah, are all cooks like that? Because the cook where I'm from is like that too.
I think they're just the most protective ones. I feel like if you know someone's favorite food and constantly know how to make it and make it perfect, you just get a little protective about it. And you get protective about them in the same way. It's like how you start liking someone, I guess.
I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, trade deals. Okay. Carson,
Yep.
what kind of connections do you have? And she just, like, goes full into, like, finances mode. You are free to stay there or free to kind of do as you wish. It seems she's basically focusing right now on what the current state of finances in the castle looks like and how it's working. And she's mildly aghast at how much of a non-gold economy it is.
They may just get their bow on their lap and just try and keep conjuring, see if they can cross it over with the swords.
Okay.
Yeah, that old weapon conjuring training we were doing since like 2 years back.
Yeah, go for it. Alright. And I believe that is everyone. So, as you each settle in to rest at night, having had a busy day and a growing anxiety of what's going to happen next, as so far most of your interactions with Zodiacs have been, if not violent, confrontational. And tomorrow will be the first time defending one. You each rest with the knowledge that tomorrow, if all goes as it should,
Real quick.
Yep.
Before we go to sleep, Esther has just one thing to take care of.
okay, go for it.
She has to ask Ariel a question.
He's out and about most of the day, kind of just like where he can offering bits of advice. But mostly he's kind of just doing his own research and reading near you, as well as taking care of Jade, of course.
She kind of walks in, just, hey.
Kind of looks up like, yeah. What's up?
Tomorrow is going to be big. And I'm going to ask you a question. You're more than welcome to say no, but it is something that I would like you to have, if possible.
Okay. Considering I'm holding your child, I'm not sure what else you can offer me, but okay.
I would like to give you one of my fane.
Why now?
Well, to be completely honest, I wanted to a while ago, but I generally...
Well, we discussed it. It's again my. While I'm sure it would be useful, right now I don't feel it's proper. By researching and putting effort, I serve Thoth. It's not knowledge; it's research. That's my calling.
It's not for that.
What for?
With fane, we are able to communicate with each other.
Yes,
It is why the group goes silent.
I
if some-
presume.
If something were to happen to me, if I were to be injured or captured or anything, if an expedition takes too long, I don't have a method of contacting you in a way that would be as efficient as this.
Makes sense.
And
Wait, do you have sending spells?
no,
Ah, that would explain it.
hence why.
It's a useful spell. I'll teach it to you someday.
Appreciated, but you don't have to use them for research or knowledge or any of the sort. You don't need to use them for that. I would just...
I know. I've just seen the unlocking of potential that's served in you folks, and I fear my journey will be less because of it. It'll be too easy. You know?
Let me ask one question of them. She's gonna ask her fane, can you be kept under lock?
We can always limit ourselves, yes, but by nature of what we are, we change the freedom of thought, the connections you can make. It's something we can do about our benefits. Having another voice in your head, regardless of intent, changes how you think. Especially commingling. But we can try something.
And that would be?
can try to breathe life into his crystal again. And
Can I?
we can speak to him through that.
All right, and Estelle just kind of relay that.
He kind of like, do you see like the scholarly look over his face as you've begun to refer to it? He says, I guess technically, I wouldn't have to commingle that way. It wouldn't change my mind. It would just change my, well, almost like a sentient magic item.
Exactly. And at least that way, if something were to happen, I can let you know.
I like the idea. It might take me time to figure out how to do the ritual safely. But I can put my research into that for the next little while. I don't want to risk it failing and you losing a piece of your vein for lack of research.
I would survive.
Yes, let's not waste a gift.
All right, then. Pour into that, then.
Alright. I'll see what I can figure out. It's this, like, almost childish grin go across his face. Kind of like the promise of, if you do your chores, you'll get a cat, basically.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's pretty much all Esther wanted to bring up.
Okay. And again, as you settle at night, as usual, with him and Jade in your arms,
Mhm.
you all settle into rest. And as you look with various levels of hesitancy forward at entering the bastion of law and order in the elemental planes, we will end the session there.
Hesitance, eternal screaming, same thing.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.